In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Side podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still bad.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
Welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. Today is a very, very special day on the podcast.
It's finally here, Mason. We waited a year. The review of Cats, the movie,
Yes,
is
the
finally
long-awaited
here.
review of Cats.
How long have we waited?
Years.
Ever since
It has
I
been 2
heard
decades.
that they were taking that off Broadway, put it
yeah.
on the silver screen.
We had to review it.
Sign me up. And when
You
I
know
saw
what?
that beautiful trailer they
Oh my
released,
God.
and it didn't give me horrifying nightmares.
No, not
And
at
I did
all.
not
I
have
mean, a
to-
humanoid cat.
I in no
Why would
way
you-
had
why
to
would
go
you
to
have
therapy.
nightmares?
I did not have to. You know I did it. But yeah, and it's finally here. Have you heard about Cats? What's happening?
No, I have not.
You haven't heard any about the reviews or anything?
Oh, I've heard. Yeah, I've heard of the reviews.
We have to go see that.
Okay, we will.
have to go
We
see it.
definitely
Everyone's
will.
saying it's the worst movie of the year.
Yeah,
They said it was unfinished. They said some of the
CGI.
CGI wasn't rendered, wasn't done. They said at one point Judi Dench's hand turns back into a human hand. Then turns back. Yeah, it wasn't done.
What?
Yeah.
And they
it's
just
wild.
released it. They just said, "Fuck it."
Yes.
That is
They
incredible.
said there's some clipping where characters are like clipping into the ground. That happens when like the graphics weren't completed or something. They're,
No
like floating in the ground. They
way.
said there's a bunch. Universal just released. They said they're gonna bring out a new version and release it to every theater with updated graphics.
Oh,
so we
please
got to
don't.
get in there.
Yeah,
and
we
got to
gotta get in there
quick,
before. Yeah,
because they're
we
gonna
do.
destroy every single version of this movie because it's horrible.
How
It's
do you let a finished
horrible.
product like that, or a quote unquote finished product, release like that? That's insane.
It's wild, man. It might be a new thing that we're seeing because fucking video game developers do it nowadays, where they release unfinished games and then in updates, it might be a new thing for movies.
Oh, I would hope not. That's just lazy to me.
Oh, absolutely.
Just finish it.
Yeah.
We got all that
But
money
we
on the line.
Everyone said it, and just like the trailer, everyone said it's horrifying. They said it's just fucking.
It's just
nightmare
weird. It's
fuel.
unnatural. And speaking of unnatural, things that are unnatural,
Yeah.
we're not here to talk about cats.
Fuck no.
No, we're
For
not.
that one, I will be visibly drunk.
We should get drunk before that. That would be a really fun one.
I'm
to
not
get
going
drunk
to
on.
review that sober. Yeah.
No, we can't.
Yeah, I
No,
will
that
be
is a-
falling
that is a
down.
whiskey.
I'll be hammered. Oh, that's a whiskey night for sure. Yeah. Yeah. That's a night you just go home and start yelling at your family. Yeah. Just
So
whiskey
you know what?
drunk.
It's over at this point. I have
I'm
nothing
my
else to
head
live
out,
for.
folks. I gotta go grab some cigarettes,
been
and you
good.
never come back.
No.
But yeah, we're not here to talk about cats.
We're not.
This is actually a special,
It is a very special
day.
one for us, being such big fans, growing up on the prequels, not on the originals, not quite that old.
Yeah.
But we're here to talk about Episode 9.
Episode 9,
Rise of
Rise of
Skywalker.
the final Star
Yes.
Wars of the Skywalker saga.
Saga, yeah.
Is what they're calling it. Again, it should be called the R2D2, CP3PO, because they're the only ones in every single movie.
Exactly.
They got shafted, of course.
They
'cause
did,
they're
as
not
they
humans.
always do. But you know
But,
what? You know what's kind of nice about this one, and we will get into a lot more details later, is I did feel, and we will talk about all the things involving Episode 9
Yes.
here, but C-3PO had a really good character arc in this film.
A strange how much he was present in this film. Like he was a main character.
He was.
He should have been billed first on the cast list.
Yeah, he definitely should have, which, interestingly
And
enough,
his
talking about top
ahead, go
billing, for casting, this is Carrie Fisher was top billing, and this is the first time she's ever been top billing, and
Well,
also
that's-
the first time in Star Wars history that a female has been
that's
top
something we will get into also because I could tell at least that she was supposed to play a much larger role in this film.
billing. Absolutely.
Hey, I mean, I was surprised by how much she was actually in it.
Right.
But I could tell that the story was definitely supposed to be. The first one was Han Solo. Second one was Luke. This one was going to be all about her, and you can tell. And
that is how it's set up, because that's how it sets up in 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, exactly.
The first one was Obi-Wan Kenobi.
And
the
it's
second one was Yoda.
thing this film does.
It's
follow a fucking formula to the T, and that's one of my biggest gripes. It did not take any risk at all in this movie. They saw what happened in Last Jedi, what Rian Johnson did, and they said, we're not trying anything new. We're just following it straight up. You won't see anything different. You won't see anything wild in this.
We're jumping right into this, and I'm totally okay with that. But let's back up real quick to Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
I do have to say, and we'll talk on this just because we brought it up right away. I will say, for what they were given, they did a really good job.
Yeah.
With making it not too obvious, unless you're like a hardcore fan, you could tell the vagueness of her responses.
Oh yeah,
and
no, it didn't look bad at all.
It didn't look bad at all
because it was old. It was old footage, most of it.
Exactly.
So,
it was primarily.
The only scene I thought that looked kind of weird was the flashback of Luke training with her.
I thought Luke looked really good when the mask came up, but her, I was like, that looked CGI.
I thought both of them looked, but she did look worse for some reason. Maybe it's because they couldn't get an actual model of her or something.
But that makes no sense, because in Rogue One, if you
they already have the model of her. Yeah, exactly.
She looks really good in Rogue One, so that was odd to me as well.
I thought that, but
I don't know. Like, I think for what they had, and I think for the writing, because you have to have the other character move the plot forward, because obviously Carrie Fisher can't, because she's not there.
Yeah.
Because she has passed. So I thought for what they had to work with, I thought they did a really good job in the aspect of her story arc and being able to have a cohesive story just for...
Yeah, they did pretty good at that.
For General Leia,
Yeah, I mean, what they could. I didn't even think about it, because it ended up being way less than what obviously she was supposed to be in, and they had to piece it together with adding other characters and whatnot. But I thought it was kind of my prediction of Sheena did die kind of early.
Yep.
Spoiler alert, we are going to get into spoilers in this. But
of course.
But yeah, so...
And we'll title it and everything.
And I thought she was going to die even earlier than that, but I figured that was my prediction, almost exactly how it was going to go. She was just going to be in a bed and fade out. Yeah. But I thought...
What did you think on that, though? Like, as far as what they had to work with, how do you think they did?
I thought they did a good job. I liked the death. It would have been so much more special I know for a fact that the whole Han Solo scene was supposed to be Carrie Fisher. It was supposed to be him seeing her. That was supposed to be all her. And I think that would have made it so much more special for me.
Really? Because I really like to see Han Solo, because that is the one that he killed. And that was kind of his turning point at that moment.
I felt Han Solo had his film.
Right.
And him just coming back just felt... I mean, that was obviously a scene for Carrie Fisher. That would have been special.
Yeah.
That would have been really special.
We talk about Adam Driver as Kylo Ren, right? Out of every character in this movie, I felt like Rey wasn't fleshed out at all for me. Like, by the third movie, it was supposed to be this like huge reveal kind of thing, and then by like the third movie, we finally dive into it. Where there's no depth there for me. But one thing stayed consistent in all three of these movies, and this is the only thing for me that stayed consistent, was the story arc of Kylo Ren, of Ben.
Yes, I think he got shafted in this. They never had faith that he could be the good enough standalone villain.
Yeah.
They all had to add in something else. He was a great villain.
He was great.
He was tormented. He was tortured, and he's being pulled by every angle. But they feel like because some people complained in the original that he wasn't a good enough villain. He didn't look scary enough.
This is the issue with Disney. They were always trying to one up it.
Yeah.
Okay, because like here's the thing. Another thing, like Palpatine.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Darth Sidious at the end, when he's doing the electrocution out of his fingertips, right? The force lightning.
Oh, I got all kinds of.
I was like, he is the super weapon. And then they're like, now there's there's planet destroyers on every single.
Yeah. Why didn't they start out with that?
I don't get it.
There's no way the technology advanced why didn't they start out with that? They made
but what I'm saying is you didn't even need that.
No.
Like Palpatine / Darth Sidious, he was the weapon. We didn't need to have a planet destroyer on every single...
Or a comically large fleet. What was there, 80,000 ships?
And who the hell built all these during
his followers?
I know.
Who are these people?
I don't know. I have
on
no
Exegol, all these... And who are the fucking people in the crowd?
Well, those are all former Sith Lords. That I do know.
Those are all I thought they're real people.
1,000 generations of Sith. Because remember, before the rule of 2, before the rule of Bane, Sith were rampant. Like in the
so they were ghost.
Yes, but because all the old Sith lived within within Darth Sidious. Yeah. And just like all the Jedi lived.
Yeah, but Rey. They weren't all there with Rey. Why didn't they all fucking show up? Like he had the Sith sitting in stands.
Sitting in stands, yeah, I know. Right.
They're all ghosts.
I guess to add the effect, because that is the planet of the Sith, right? According to this film.
But he also had human followers.
Yes, he did.
He had real people also. So I think that was left very vague.
It was.
It never got into why all those people were there or anything. And
are you talking about all the soldiers and stuff? Like on the...
Well, most of them, yeah. Then, but even the people in the crowd, I thought it was never clear that those were supposed to be Sith or whatever. I mean, they didn't look like Force ghosts look like Ghost, right? Mm-hmm. These guys just look like straight up regular people, right? Regular Joes.
Well, where did you get the crew to fill all those Star Destroyers too? That's what I want to know, because we were just talking about the comically large fleet that he had out of nowhere. Where did he man all these?
I kept thinking at one point, like General Hux or someone would be like, "Don't forget, you need our people" or whatever. But no, he had plenty of people.
He did. He had plenty of people.
That's what I'm saying. He had a lot of followers. I mean, that couldn't be all people from the Death Star. I'm gonna guess 90% of the people had to have died on the Death Star.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, in the old ones, it completely gets blown up. Like there's nothing left. No. Obviously, in this one, there's like giant pieces everywhere and whatnot.
And I get the whole theory that he was going around and grabbing young children like what he typically does off of planets. But still, the First Order was doing that. So it's like, it just. That kind of stuff really got to me. Yeah. Where I was like, why couldn't we answer this better?
No, I felt all the Palpatine stuff for me, it felt like it was tacked on at like a later. Like that maybe wasn't the original plan. That seems like they just put it in there to like, we got to do something because people are mad about the last one. We got to just... And obviously that's... Because we ended up finding out that when we did that movie news episode where we talked about the bad ending and whatnot, it ended up being the ending. It ended up being the ending. So that was accurate.
It was an accurate report.
And the ending, we're again jumping ahead, but I would have almost liked it if it was that other one that she had to like lift him up and destroy him and like bring him down or whatever. Because he's been struck by his own lightning 3 fucking times
okay,
now.
that was another thing. I wasn't going to bring it, but I'm bringing it up now.
3 times. I know. He's the greatest Sith of all time, and he
can't get to reflect like the
or just stop the lightning.
I just don't get it. He can take down half a fleet, but all of a sudden, like Rey had the power.
Yeah.
To just take out.
Yeah, I wish there was more of a fight there.
Yes.
Again, that one
because Mace Windu did it to him.
Yeah.
And then Vader did it to him.
Yes.
So it was like
every time died, it was because of his own lightning. Every time something bad happened to him,
it's like what, third time's a charm? Like he's never going to learn his lesson. He's supposed to be the most like intelligent Sith of all time.
He's the best Sith of all time. He's almost literally predicting the future at this point. And he knew that Rey was going to come down, and he knew. But like, the whole thing of the lightning. You don't want the lightning. It's a horrible Sith power.
You know, man. Like I would have been totally okay with a brand new villain. Because there's always a new bad guy taking the reins.
Or just Kylo Ren.
Or just Kylo
being the...
Yes. They could have just done that in 9.
Well, that's the thing. They had to follow that formula to a T where he had to be the Avenger. He ended up having to have that arc where he had to be good. They would not allow him just to be bad. No. Just like they wouldn't allow fucking Chewbacca to die. They couldn't even take that risk.
Okay, how many people...
That was so stupid to me.
Fake died?
No, well, that's the thing about Star Wars at this point. There's no weight to any death.
To anything.
Any death. Like, there's a second transport we didn't even see.
We did see it. To be fair, we did see it. On the second viewing, I looked for it. There were 2 when Finn came to peak. There were 2.
Okay, well, why didn't they see that then? They completely missed a whole giant transport.
Exactly.
Like, I get that maybe we saw, but how did they fucking miss it? Like, they had no idea there was another giant transport. I mean, they saw Chewbacca get on...
A transport, yeah.
Yeah. So that was wild.
No, I know. It's just like, and then like if you're going to do that, okay, which I'm not opposed to it. Whatever. It's Star Wars. There's no.
I thought that was gonna be.
But then they just revealed Chewbacca right away, and then I was like, oh, okay. So like I was supposed to be sad for what, 5 seconds?
Well, that was the thing. Like I thought, wow, this is actually wild that they're going to do this. This is actually taking kind of a leap of, this is doing something different. Chewbacca being dead. And Rey doing it. Yeah. This is going to cause some real fucking conflict. Mm-hmm. This is going to be actually maybe get pretty deep and emotional. Nope, Chewbacca's fine.
Yeah.
Always. No, you can't
right away.
kill those fuckers. That
No, you
main
can't.
5, you cannot kill those fuckers. You just can't. Even having a gun to their head, you just can't. You can't kill them. They let them live too long. But yeah, and the pacing was weird. There's so many different, like, as soon as it established they were doing something, they immediately had to go and do something else. It was so, and it never had like the cool dialogue or anything between them because they were constantly bouncing from one fucking place to another.
It felt like these objects were just unnecessary objects to move the plot.
Yes,
it felt like
a video
the
game.
next quest.
It felt like a video game quest.
Correct.
We're like, okay, go get the 5 eggs. Now I gotta go for no fucking reason.
Now I gotta find this dagger.
Yeah, and now you gotta go to the holocron or whatever the fuck
map on it. And I'm like, what? With the Sith language that.
And the Sith hunter who really had no role at all.
None.
But ended up taking her parents or have something. Yeah, it was just, I don't know.
There was so much of it that
again, I said earlier, liked it, didn't love it.
And it's funny because like we started off with all the things that didn't make sense to us, but like we had the same thought. I liked it leaving. I liked it. I liked the movie. And like I'm not a hater of it. And I'm not a hater of, but here's the thing. Like,
the longer it sat with me, the more I was thinking, oh, those things were kind of stupid. The more time I had to think about it, the more I'm like, oh. And it kind of made me appreciate The Last Jedi.
Honestly, if I go back to all 3 films, The Last Jedi is my favorite one.
It took the most risk. It was the only one willing to do anything different, and they just got crucified for it.
And here's the thing. This is what I feel for J.J. Abrams. And I think J.J. Abrams did the best job he could have possibly done given what Rian Johnson gave him. But I also don't fault Rian Johnson. I fault more like Disney for switching up directors and not having a story structure for all 3 movies right away.
Yeah.
You should have known before making all 3 movies where exactly you
wanted
to go.
Well, they didn't. Yeah, that was the one moment. JJ said he left it up to Ryan to decide, but then apparently Ryan had so many executives telling him not to do anything and not to make anything concrete for the final that he didn't want to establish anything.
Yeah,
because JJ thought he was going to reveal Rey's parents in the second one or stuff like that, and Kylo, or not Kylo, but Poe apparently was supposed to die in the first one. So that was all story that Ryan could do anything.
Yes.
And he didn't move it along at all because he was so scared.
No, and then by the 3rd film, we're like wrapping everything up. We find out who Rey is, and then like we find out, it's just like...
in a quick succession.
You know what? We could have almost done, like, I'm dead serious. Like, and I know, whatever, trilogies are trilogies, meaning 3 movies. But on a serious note, we probably should have had at least another movie.
Yeah.
Only because we didn't move the plot along at all.
It was quick. Yeah, it all had to end very quick at the end. Yeah.
Like and the thing with Rian Johnson's film is it took risks and stuff like that, but to a point, it deviated the story so much where like when you watch these in sequential order, you're like, where is this going? There's no cohesive like story path.
Yeah.
It feels like very choppy in between each movie.
Yeah, you almost to me the second film is almost just only establishing the Kylo Ren character. Mm-hmm. I mean, it almost doesn't establish Rey at all, but it's establishing the Kylo Ren character more and more. That almost feels like that was his film.
Yeah.
But in The Last Jedi, there were some scenes that I fucking loved. The Last Jedi, but in The Rise of Skywalker, it never had like a throne room scene for me. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about how cheated we were with the Knights of Ren.
Oh my God. The
3 films.
Yes, the build up for the Knights of Ren for all 3 films.
And it turns out these guys are just good at following people. Like that's their Sith ability. They can't fight worth fucking shit.
Well, because they get decimated almost instantly.
They're good at looking menacing, but them standing on the fucking column in the desert looking badass and then not doing anything.
Nothing.
They getting wiped out in Kylo Ren, and not even that cool of a fucking fight scene. It was quick.
It was very quick.
They didn't do anything.
Yeah.
The one of the knights has a gun. He didn't fire it once.
Mm-hmm. It's just like, why?
3 films we were teased with that. And nothing happened.
That's what I felt a lot of in all 3 of these movies, where like we were teased the whole time, but nothing really significant or nothing when it was revealed.
I feel cheated.
Yeah, when it was revealed that Rey was a Palpatine, I was like,
duh.
Okay. Yeah.
Like there's no other explanation for it at that point. Yeah.
There just wasn't, and like I saw that,
and they led so heavily with the Palpatine stuff early on in the film. You're like, oh.
Well, immediately, like the first scene almost where she flashes and she sees herself on the throne.
Yes,
and I'm like,
Or the first
okay.
scene when
so she's Palpatine's
Yeah.
daughter, is what I thought, but it ends up being granddaughter. And let's talk about that. Okay, so now Palpatine is having sexual relations with women?
Well, let's talk about it. In
and
Star Wars
where
at
are
this
his
point,
kids?
anyone can fuck anyone at this point because it's who in the right mind would have sex with that fucking gargoyle?
Especially post prequels.
Yeah. Yeah, and the time didn't make sense.
It didn't make any sense at all. And then
That's one thing I'm like, at least the time didn't make any sense.
and they kind of just threw it.
Yeah, like a third grader is gonna realize that.
Yeah.
Oh, Palpatine had kids 30 years ago or some shit.
And here's the thing: if Palpatine has kids, he doesn't seem like the kind of father to me, an evil leader that's just gonna be like, yeah, you can go do your own thing, and then I'm gonna go hunt down my granddaughter. No, he would have raised them like he raised Maul when he found Maul. Darth
Exactly.
Maul. And he would have raised them to be evil.
Yeah, they
and
made
to
it sound
take
like he
the
was
throne.
just like a deadbeat dad. He just fucked this chick
yeah,
and
and
left.
then left. And I'm like, that is not.
And then
that's
only
not who
came
our
back
Darth
for some
Sidious
reason for the
is.
granddaughter.
Yeah,
Like,
she was
your
supposed to take the
son is
throne.
gonna be a badass.
Right. Or daughter, like whatever.
Or whatever,
one it
yeah,
is.
because it never made
It
clear
never
if he
even
was
made
the
it clear.
daughter or the
No. And that to me, I was just like, hold on. So we're just jumping here that we're just all going to accept that, oh,
That's
this is his
someone
granddaughter.
fucked that man. That was the wildest thing of all time.
It was.
Yeah. It didn't make any sense. No one had. There's no way.
No.
I mean, even you could get a crazy cult chick. I mean, it's just not. I mean, he's not having kids.
I don't know.
Where's he raising these kids out through the entire?
You know what?
movie?
Actually, oh my gosh. It would have almost made more sense had they had like talked about Sidious and then he had like a secret like evil wife.
Well, that's the
or
thing.
whatever.
Like for those things,
You
it's
know,
like something
at
so
least it would've
simple.
made a little sense.
You could have said two sentences and had something explained, and you could have used two sentences to explain how he survived the getting thrown
down.
He could have said like, and then I crawled out of the, or he could have said eating, but there's no reference of how he survived
No,
that.
none.
He fell a long distance. I get metachlorians and whatnot, and Darth Plagueis, but this guy fucker doesn't die.
No.
And it never explained that. It never even jumped into it. Never even hinted at it, I don't think, of how he survived that.
Well,
And then went on to start this civilization. This giant fucking civilization on an exegol. And, yeah.
Yeah.
Never explained it.
Well, the dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities. Some think
We
to
know
be
he
unnatural.
says it in every fucking one.
Well, right, but that was literally the only thing to give us any ties towards anything.
Yeah.
And then like that, we were just supposed to buy it after that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right. I
So
don't have any
just
other
because they're all
questions.
supposed to be unnatural, like
Yeah,
we're
I
just
don't
not
have any other
supposed to
questions.
ask
I'm
any
done
more
here.
questions.
Yeah.
That was the thing that frustrated me the most too.
And it's like, well, then how do we know he's dead now?
Yeah. Okay, he was
I get that he
obliterated,
just-
but
yeah.
is
But
like,
he was also electrocuted and thrown down 1,000 stories. Like, if that didn't rip up his little old man body, then how do we know he's dead now?
I don't know. No idea.
And where's Darth Plagueis, who fucking taught him all this?
Exactly.
Why couldn't that fucker survive any longer?
Well, and that would have been, I think that would have been the way to go.
Yep.
Have Darth Plagueis be the bad guy. That would have been awesome for all the people who read the books
Yeah.
beforehand. And it would have been an awesome villain that everyone could have appreciated.
And that would have been even new enough for even, because now that this is all done and over, now I know Last Jedi was destroyed by fans just because it was something different. Even if that would have been different, and I still think diehard fans would have enjoyed that.
Do me a favor. Okay? Next time you watch The Last Jedi, do this. You will think much more highly of The Last Jedi if you just do this for me. Take out the casino scene. Don't even watch it. Fast forward
No,
the
I
entire
did.
thing.
I stopped the stupid when them riding the fucking
the
lemur
whatever
horses.
whatever
It's
those
so
were.
dumb.
Right. Take all of that out, edit all of that little 20 minutes out of the movie, and you're going to be like, wow, this is a really good Star Wars film. That's why I like the movie so much.
Yeah, and there was a few, but yeah. Again, I think I appreciate it more now that Last Jedi is out, and it even made the whole Princess Leia scene with her floating back in even make a little more sense, knowing that she actually trained to be a Jedi.
Yeah, she did, and I did. Yeah, that I actually did like.
That
they got
made me
into that.
appreciate it because like that's. I never fucking knew that.
No, I didn't know that either.
When I watched that, they made it sound like it was nonchalant. It was so nonchalant, him telling him this, that I'm like, did I miss something throughout the series that ever discussed that she was training to be a Jedi and that she was actually badass? And why'd she give it up? They're always fucking Jedi.
Yeah,
just
I don't remember.
giving
They're
up.
always giving up.
They're just looking for a
like,
reason
yeah, no, I'm good.
to get rid of that. Keep a lightsaber on you if you train with it. Don't just fucking get rid of it. Keep it on your hip, but do something strapped to your ankle just in case. Even Sidious, who said lightsabers were barbaric, he always kept lightsabers.
Yeah, he was smart enough. He knew.
Jedis are always just looking to throw theirs into the ocean or into a sand pit.
Yeah, they don't want them. They never want them. Or bury them.
Yeah. Why? Because it went through that so fast, and it was like, but Leia knew it wasn't. And she never used her force powers in any way.
No, she didn't.
Besides to float her ass back into the ship.
And for me, like, this is one thing I want to bring up. Like 7, 8, and 9, and I know they had a different director in the middle. But I think my biggest gripe, because like I think I talked about this off air. Hopefully I didn't talk about this on air, but I think for me, if I look at each individual movie, I'm like, yeah, I liked each one. As far as like together, I hated it as like a cohesive story trilogy. So the reason why I bring that up again is because it makes me appreciate the prequels a hell of a lot more, because for everything wrong, like with the dialogue, with the cheesy dialogue, with the cheesy acting, at least it had a cohesive story. If you look at that, there was so much Star Wars lore in the prequels.
Yeah.
There was rules in all 3 of the movies where they never broke them.
Yeah.
I just felt like there was a lot of shit on the whim for 7, 8, and 9 where, we're supposed to believe this now. We're supposed to believe that. Everything was established in those prequels where we knew the rules.
It was a little too much detail with the whole Trade Federation and all that. It just got way too much into that kind of detail. But I actually
appreciate it more because this one just kind of felt more on the fly.
Those films will be better in retrospect. Those films will be better. And even though they still kind of followed a pattern, it was cool to see it then. After, because it was been so long after the original trilogy, it was cool to see like, Palpatine's still, the bad guy, that. But then seeing it for a third time, almost exact in succession of the first 2 trilogies, now you're just kind of exhausted about it.
You are.
And even it was even like watching it, and even the relationships are almost exactly the same with like how almost early on Leia and Poe were almost exactly like, you could totally see Poe as Han Solo and Rey as Leia, obviously, and they're gonna have that relationship where they butt heads. But it's the exact same fucking relationship that we've seen before. So I just don't get why they can't explore different things going that way. Yeah. Now, let's talk about Finn, who fucks everyone in the galaxy. Who's Finn's girlfriend in this?
I do not know.
The guy's slinging dick everywhere. First you think it's Rose.
Yeah, you do.
Now it was that other chick he found on with the horses.
Jonna.
Yeah, who was I guess supposed to be Lando's daughter, because they left that really weird scene.
Because at the very end he was like, well, let's find out, because she was like, I don't know who my parents are. He was like, well, let's find out.
I heard there was this whole side plot of him and her being his daughter that they were supposed, and they cut that completely out, but for some reason left the last scene in there. Right. Well, because watching that, I was like, is he gonna like fuck her? Because it was such a weird.
It was very weird.
Because it was definitely supposed to be something. There was supposed to be some relation. Because why else would you just randomly come up and be like, let's go find my family? And he's just like, yeah, let's fucking do. I got nothing going on.
Just save the galaxy again.
But I got nothing slated. To be honest, I didn't think we'd win. So my schedule is clear from here.
I actually cleared my schedule for everything. So
yeah, we'll get into it. But the pull Lando has to get that fleet, he cruised around for 40 minutes.
The man's well known, okay?
Yeah,
he has his resources.
He did not. No. He was not out there very long.
No, he wasn't.
Because they were on a timetable. He was out there for, wild.
It was wild.
Wild, but should we just dive into it?
Yeah, let's dive into it. Now, story-wise, now that
we'll pick it apart even more. We get of course, we get a text crawl. That's never been done before. But it wouldn't be Star Wars without text crawl. But yeah, we get it, and we learn immediately that Palpatine, he's sent out kind of, he's got his own, radio show going on, I guess, but...
Okay, that's another thing. Okay, I'm sorry. We got to stop right again, because this is a podcast.
Yeah, that was 30 seconds in.
30 seconds in. We almost got it. We almost did it. Here's the thing. Darth Sidious, being as smart and manipulative as he is, he knows how to, be behind the scenes and,
Oh, yeah.
He just decides to broadcast to the entire galaxy, oh, by the way, I'm still alive.
Yeah.
I was like, what is going on
Well,
here?
he had to have Kylo go and find him. That's the whole reason. And he only broadcasted after he was done with the fleet. So that kind of makes sense. At least he didn't jump the gun.
It still doesn't make. It's still like if he's gonna come out, he's gonna come out and surprise the rebellion.
Yeah.
Surprise
No,
the
he
First
just came
Order.
out with
He just
it.
came out. Just broadcast his death to everyone.
But again, of course, he didn't think in his mind he was lasting much longer, I guess, for the whole reason.
Right,
You know?
for the reason at the end.
So
Good point.
he broadcasts everything out, and Kylo finds him immediately because Kylo's got to go kill his ass.
Yes.
Because now this guy's claiming that he's got a whole that he's the head of the Empire.
Supreme leader.
So Kylo he goes and this maybe was one of the cool scenes I thought was him slaughtering that village.
Very awesome scene in the beginning.
Very cool scene, yeah.
I super enjoyed that.
Because it
and that
immediately
brought me in
showed
right
you
away.
where Kylo's at in this. Like he's fucking done. He's over the edge. You know, he's just slaughtering these. I think they're using like sticks and
We're not very well sophisticated.
but he was going at him like they were fucking soldiers. But yeah, and he slaughters them and he finds this little it's not a holocron, which is in the Star Wars, but it's a
Pathfinder.
it's a GPS, a Pathfinder, exactly.
Or a Wayfinder, rather.
A Wayfinder.
A Sith
yeah.
Wayfinder.
Yeah, and there's two of them. Because there's always more than one in Star Wars.
You can't just have one.
No, and you
have
can't.
two.
Yeah,
So you can destroy one and think that everything's over, and then find out there's a second one.
exactly. And yeah, so he finds this. He immediately plugs it in and takes him to Exegol,
Exegol,
which is a forbidden
Sith
planet.
Yeah.
Forbidden.
The planet of the Sith. Yeah.
On the edge of the fucking galaxy, right? No one's like people have like heard of it,
Right.
but no one goes there.
No.
You're never just hanging out there in Exegol.
No, I don't
because
think
it's a nightmare
There's
planet.
no cantina bar on Exegol.
No,
you know?
you're never just cruising by and let's dip down there because it's depressing as hell.
Yes, it is.
They have
Very
this-
somber.
Yeah, they have this giant it's what you think of the Sith. They're very they have one track mind when it comes to decorating.
They do.
Sharp
It's very
edges.
simple.
Sharp edges are key. We do not want a fucking curve in this
No.
place. It's like the Tesla truck. It's everything is just square and you got to respect it.
You do.
If you're OCD, you're thinking this place is great.
It's very tidy.
Oh yeah, and so he flies in. He's got this place was awesome. It was very cool, I thought, the way they did it. Because it has all the old Sith statues and
The
stuff
giant
like that.
statues.
Yeah.
I liked it too.
And you never get to see that part of the Sith.
No.
And so that was cool. And the planet is like, it's always got a storm on it. They have like typhoons. They have thunderstorms, hurricanes constantly going. So you can't really get anything in and out of there. And but he eventually goes and well, first he finds that we finally get the big reveal of Snoke. Oh, Snoke was just a fucking...
Was just literally made from nothing from Palpatine.
He's
which
a clone.
I'm assuming, he's a clone.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming he learned those techniques with Plagueis. Darth Plagueis, I'm assuming, for being able to revive like people out of nothing into life because he formed life through midi-chlorian.
Well,
because
maybe
they were force sensitive.
Well, maybe
That's what
he
I'm assuming.
or maybe he actually found a guy of Snoke, and he just did
Just continued to clone him.
He just did the fucking, the Boba Fett thing, where they
Yes.
just found him and just kept cloning him. Maybe he just found a guy, cloned him once he thought that this guy looks enough menacing. Because Snoke is what, 9 feet tall? He's a big alien. But we find he's got like 10 Snokes just ready to go, just in case. I guess I don't know why you didn't flush those bad boys down the toilet once he died. You're not bringing him back, I don't think. But who knows what's going on in his head?
You think maybe some of that technology was from Camino?
Oh, I would assume so. Yeah, and
clone
some of that
technology,
technology is in Mandalorian as well.
It is.
The Camino, but what was with that planet? They were just so good at cloning.
They were, you know what? Those
was like
people
their
were
thing.
good. Yeah, they were super good at it. We just like to clone.
Like it's a
whatever.
religion. Yeah, the man with those weird, tall, fucking.
Yeah, the long.
That's all
neck,
they did.
Yeah.
They just clone people.
Well, the thing is, like, I think it's kind of cool, honestly, because you can make a lot of money doing that.
Yeah, it's great.
mean,
Maybe
they
they're just
look
great
very well
businessmen.
off. Yeah, they're
like,
really good business.
This
people.
market has them in cornered, and we're
Yeah.
gonna fucking.
You're not gonna try to attack a planet that's giving you all that, So.
No, I guess not. But well, I mean, I think the Empire shut them down though after they started,
yeah.
so it wasn't the best business to get into. But yeah, he finds it, and who does he find in the corner? Well, it's a cool scene because he's doing all the voices in Kylo's head.
Yes.
He's like,
That
I've been
was
there the
cool,
whole
'cause he
time, and
did Vader.
He did Vader, and he does Snoke.
Snoke, yeah.
And he might have even done. I can't remember. Does he do Han Solo?
I thought he did do Han.
I think he did too.
Yeah.
I think he did. So it made him look really fucking evil. And then we get him, we get him for the first time, and in a long time, we finally see him, old Sidious, and he's, oh boy, he looks like Uncle Fester if he had been in the ground for 8 weeks.
Right, he's not looking great at this point. He's got I would say, massive catalysts over his eyes to where they're just white.
They're very foggy, but we do see those old yellow eyes, those peepers, eventually.
We
find
do.
out that,
And
again, it's all just a fucking ploy, a game for him to look weak. All those hands were the only thing that I think really took bad beating.
Yeah, part of the
electricity.
Bones and stuff like
Again,
that
must affect. Obviously, it's going to give you carpal tunnel or something. You can't have lightning bolts just fine because he had nubs of
He
fingers,
did,
and they were
some
not.
of them gone, some of the bones sticking out. I was like, damn, this guy's still going through hell.
He wasn't looking good.
And for all the powers he has, he really could not resuscitate himself faster than that. Out of the 30 years he had.
Well, who
he's
knows?
still looking
Because
like
we
that.
don't get into any of it, so who knows what he's been doing for that fucking time. It might have took him 10 years just to crawl out. I don't know how he survived, because again, he got electrocuted, thrown down, and then the entire place blew up. So was he just floating through space?
Some unlucky cargo people just sucked him in like
Well,
pirates.
pick this guy up. He
Yeah.
seems cool.
He seems nice.
He's got nice black robes. He's perfect. And then it turns out he's a fucking bummer. He's a bummer for sure.
You know, one thing I did like about Darth Sidious, though, in the end, is when they pulled out the red cloak again. I thought that looked really good with the yellow eyes.
Yeah, well,
I like that little callback.
What's
That
his
was a
name?
cool callback.
Ian Mc who replays Darth Sidious.
Right.
He always does such an amazing job, even if it's
It's Ian whatever, I forget his name.
it's something Ian something.
Yeah.
He's been in all of them.
McDermott.
He's been in 9 films, I think, or something crazy like that. I think he's been in more than almost any of them. But yeah, I like this opening scene for sure. Him explaining that he's been Snoke and everything the whole time, and him kind of convincing Kylo not to kill him, and that it's all part of the plan.
Yeah.
But Kylo's thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna kill him eventually." But Sith says, "You can't kill me. I got this fucking badass fleet I've been building for a long time, my guy." And it probably took a long time with a crew of 10 dudes.
Yeah, I would say
Whatever
so. To
is
build
left,
all
yeah.
those. I mean, they're working around the clock. Hopefully, they're making some.
And again, it was odd because they were old style Star Destroyers, but all the armor was First Order armor.
Yes.
The red armor. So
and they had planet destroying technology.
yeah, in
on
that
their
little
ships.
fact, every single one of them. And it's crazy because it's Star Wars logic. Every single one of them has planet destroyed, but there's only one fucking antenna that they can.
I know.
Why not build 100 antennas and make it? Like, why have so many destroyers if you can only be connected to one antenna? Like,
Yeah.
why not even have their own antenna on each
what,
and every
like,
one of them?
What
What's the point
architect
of
guy is like, yeah, this is a great idea. Because if someone destroys this antenna,
Yeah.
we're all done.
Not only do we know from 2 fucking Death Stars,
Right. The one
not
thing,
to have an exhaust port that destroys the entire thing. We did that twice. We're not going to make that mistake
Nope,
again.
but instead we're going to have one antenna for
out.
the entire
We
fleet.
ran out of scrap metal building 9,000 fucking Star Destroyers. We only had enough for one antenna.
That makes sense.
What are you going to do?
Because of Star Wars.
What are you going to do?
Because Star Wars. That's the answer.
Well, yeah, you got to be able to defeat the entire Empire in one swing. Because especially when you only have 9 rebels this entire time. Not a huge, not a lot of them, but oh, and meanwhile, we've got Finn and Poe and them. They're all they're running,
Doing a little mission.
And what happens? They find
They're trying to find intel on the spy. Because the spy has information for them.
well, there ends up being like a mole.
A mole, yeah.
Working for the
In the
First
First
Order.
Order.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
within the First
they
Order.
find a ship. That ship tells them that. The guy who ends up telling them ends up not living very long.
No, he doesn't. His head actually gets placed upon Kylo Ren's
And I
desk.
wonder, because there was blood, did he not to do that with his lightsaber? Did he do it with an old knife? Did that guy
literally
get the worst?
That's rough.
The worst torture in the entire fucking series.
An extremist group type of beheading.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad.
Because I mean, he had blood, so I'm like, it didn't cartelize. So
No.
I'm thinking
That's
maybe.
a very good point. You know what is so funny is I didn't even think about that. Out of all the things I think about during the film, I did not think, oh, there's blood on the table, alien blood. But
Yeah.
that's a great point. He definitely would have done it with his lightsaber. So.
Maybe he's just like in the ship, Fuck, I forgot something.
It's a good time to forget it, though. Good thing I've got this Sith knife here.
Good thing my grandpa gave me this old rusty Sith knife.
It doesn't work very well, so bear with me. The guy's like, no.
It's more for decoration, but it'll work.
It'll work for
the mantelpiece, but yeah, that guy's like, just kill me.
Kill me, get it over with.
But again, poor guy.
Yeah, poor guy.
He was just doing his job. Yeah, and his last thing he said was like, just fight on.
Yeah,
baby.
they're like, how can we thank you? Just win the war, kid.
Yeah. Turns out you should have given him some protection.
He should have just jumped down that port with him.
Turns out there is something they could have given him. Like, it was on that guy.
Life.
That guy was too modest. He didn't want to ask for
No,
anything.
he
thought, they'll get me on the fly. No, I'm sure they'll return the favor. That guy, he lived about 2 minutes. He had the shortest lifespan on Star Wars universe, but
they had no problems killing that guy. At least,
no,
it's the only one.
Yeah. So, and Rey discovers that Luke was after, not after the Wayfinder, but after directions to the Wayfinder, right?
Yep.
And these directions are on this ceremonial Sith dagger.
Sith dagger.
That this one hunter is carrying.
Yes.
And why was he carrying it? Why was this item, this most important item in the universe, was carried by this guy who just fell into a sand pit?
I have no idea.
And died. I mean,
because he was a Sith loyalist, remember?
Yeah, but I mean, that's a lot of...
That's a lot to tell. That must be quite the loyalist. You got to
have a lot really respected that guy.
They do.
Like, there's no wavering with Tom. He's 100% in. Yeah. So we're going to give him the dagger. We feel comfortable with this.
Ochi's his name, and he ends up falling into a sand trap and dying. Like, wow, a real good move.
He was dedicated, but not the brightest. Because he
little
landed...
dull in the head.
And you kind of got to be a little not all there to be just 100% with the Sith. Because they're living horrible lives. These guys are super cool.
They treat me good.
They live on this really awesome fucking death planet that no one can escape. But
it's a little cold, but I mean the decorating's nice.
But yeah, he was down for it. But yeah, so they have to go and they have to find this dagger that Luke found. But Rey's gonna go by herself, and Rey's been training.
She has with Leia,
and she even does the cool fucking, which she never did in a fight. She threw her lightsaber and caught it. The old Darth Vader thing. Mm-hmm. She never did in a fight, though.
No, she never did.
She only did to cut down fucking lumber.
Yeah.
Again, we were cheated.
We
were cheated cool fight scenes, I thought, in this one. But yeah, Poe and them say, no, Rey, you're not going alone. Because that would be a lame movie. And you got to have more characters.
We need screen time too, right? I mean, what are you being selfish for?
Because as soon as they leave, you really don't see. You see flashbacks of Leia, but this is the extent right now. You're seeing. You only see her, and then after this, she's.
You
dying.
have like other like small admirals and stuff giving very, very vague response or very vague things to her to kind of give her a little bit more screen time.
Yeah.
There was one time where she talked to Rey when Rey came back. And like Rey's going on this big long thing, and all Leia says is no, and that was it.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that was super vague. But they did a good job with it. And I'm not like poking fun at it because they did a really good job. But you could still kind of tell a little bit.
Yeah.
But for what they had to work with,
there was a lot. Pippin from
from Lord of the Rings.
Quite a few scenes in it.
I kind of freaked out when I saw him. I was like, "Hey, Pippin!"
Well, I was there with my dad, who's also a big Lord of the Rings fan, and we both turned and went Pippin. And Admiral Ackbar's son was there.
I did see that because Admiral Ackbar passed away.
Dad, yeah, again, he was supposed to have a bigger part in Last Jedi and died early, where they had to replace him with Laura Dern's character. Yeah. So this franchise, unfortunately, was plagued with ill-timed deaths, which no death is timed good, but obviously there's never a good time for a death. But that really hurt it. That and like the rewriting, there was like so many things up against, which I don't want to make any excuses because you could have obviously made just 3 amazing films if you just listened to big fans. But yeah, this whole series, struggled with stuff like that. But at least Han Solo was good enough, or at least they got Harrison Ford to come back. And I'm sure they can only get him back because of the pressure of Carrie Fisher.
Okay, this is the one question I want to ask. what did they pay him per day to come back?
Well,
Because
I
Harrison
guarantee they guilted him. They said Carrie would have loved this. Harrison, you know Carrie.
big Disney
you know
exec.
Carrie's looking up down and she's saying, "Do this fucking job and do it for free."
And do it right.
And you don't want any money because that's what Carrie would have wanted.
Yeah, of course, right? Yeah. No, but they had to have paid him. I mean,
They
big
paid
money
him, and
because-
I do think they told him this scene was supposed to be for Carrie, and like this would be a respectable thing to do. And
I'm glad he did it.
Oh,
because
yeah.
that
What's he
was
gonna
one
say,
of the
no?
highlights for
Yeah.
me anyway. With Carrie being gone, that was one of the highlights of the film for me.
Oh, yeah.
I really, really, really enjoyed that scene.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too.
I thought it was definitely one of the highlights.
It's
And
always-
I was
to me,
really
it's-
happy to see him again.
To me, it's always the best scenes for these. It's not even the fighting scenes, but the scenes where you get those old characters. Like I loved in Last Jedi when our friend Yoda made a return. I
was the
love that.
best.
Scene. Like I went
Yeah.
back and watched Last Jedi, and that scene is it's so good. Using that actual puppet for the ghost.
That was the biggest thing for me is they used the puppetry again, and it was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I love
And in this,
it. Looks so
and in this,
good.
Rey hearing all the voices of all the generations, and hearing Qui-Gon Jinn, and hearing
Yeah,
Hayden
that was
Christensen.
Cool. Yep.
That was really cool. That was cool. Stuff like that is always cool to me.
And did you notice what Hayden Christensen said? Because it was pretty significant.
Honestly, I barely even realized it was him going past. That's something I would go back and watch and listen to.
I noticed when I heard it.
Because it
Bring
said
balance to
Qui-Gon
the
Jinn had
Force
two.
like I once did.
Yeah.
Because like again, if
What
you
he-
look at
he
7, 8,
thought
9,
he did.
right? No, but what like he did too. Because they still have to give meaning to those first 6 movies.
Yeah, I know.
So
and
he did bring balance to the Force,
Yeah.
but now
Kinda.
Rey is bringing balance to the Force
For like
once more.
5 years, he
yeah,
did.
for like 30 years, and then it wasn't balanced
it brings
anymore.
less weight to that
It
because
br-
of
oh,
he,
dude.
he made the ultimate sacrifice.
Yes.
Just to throw that guy down 1,000 feet, and that guy still lived. Like,
And that was one thing.
and that killed him to
yeah,
do it.
It did.
He got electrocuted. The ass got electrocuted for that.
That really did irritate me because it did feel like there was a lot less weight than behind those. That's kind of why
I'm sure
kinda
Hayden's
put-
probably his ghost, whatever Vader's ghost, going, well, shit. I didn't even need
Why
to
did I
die.
do that? I literally could have just.
Yeah, I
Had to do
didn't
with me.
even need to do that. That
Yeah.
was unneeded for me. But
I kind of think of these as just kind of separate.
yeah,
You know, just because like for me, there's still a lot of weight between those the original.
I know when there is, but that's just something that makes me dislike this film more is just kind of throwing that like
Yeah,
into
back
the
into
window,
the
like,
back into the ring.
So they're trying to find this dagger. They go to the planet Pasana, and Pasana is fucking it's like again Burning Man in space.
It is definitely
They're
Burning Man
getting-
in space. I turned and literally said that. Yeah.
Like this place is wild, and we find out only every 42 years they have the celebration.
Keep in mind, 42 years.
Of course, yeah.
Right, 42 years since
the original
the
came out,
original
yeah.
came out. Yes,
Yeah.
which was a good nod. I really like that they only celebrate once every 42
Yeah.
years is what. And C-3PO said that too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a nod on top of a
Yeah.
nod, which was awesome. I like that.
Yeah, C-3PO, and they could have went to that party 42 years ago and had a good
could
time,
have.
and they
In-
came
in
back. Yeah, they
77,
missed
man.
out.
Yeah,
You
they
can't
did.
miss
They
out.
really
That's like
can't.
missing out on Woodstock.
Yeah, it's once in a generation kind of thing.
Yeah, but yeah, so they're doing that. They're going through. They're trying to look for this dagger and whatnot. They're looking for answers and whatnot. And Rey, we have that. Palpatine talks or whatever, and it's a cool scene because everything goes dark and whatnot, and it's all like slow. Oh no, it's not Rey.
No,
it's
not.
It's Kylo.
Yeah,
Kylo talks
Kylo
to her.
talks to her.
And
know
I
what you-
liked all these scenes. The scenes were because at this point Kylo is fucking powerful, and Rey is fucking powerful,
Mm-hmm.
like the most powerful Jedi's ever. And they're able to somehow like transport or teleport physical items from one place to another, and, it
and
keeps
actually
and it's
physically
and every
fight
time
as
it's
well.
cool scenes.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
definitely.
physically fight, which
This was another highlight as well. I totally
which is
agree with you.
undone. I'm pretty sure by Jedi ever being able to transport items
No.
from. I'm pretty sure no one. And again, it showed the connection that they had.
Exactly, and they did tie that in well. I will give them credit for this as well. They
Yeah.
did tie that in well at the climax of the film when Darth Palpatine drained both their power, saying this happens once in like 10 generations.
Yeah.
that people are so well synced that they
I
can
thought so
have
too,
these
but again,
powers.
that just seemed like it was just like added on towards the end, or just like a
It was
quick
added on,
thing,
but
like
it did-
oh, now your connection is. Don't forget, you guys are fucking connected, and
Right.
like we gotta. But they did hammer that point on earlier.
They did
too,
hammer
yeah.
it, yeah, enough to where we didn't necessarily need it.
Yeah.
But at least it tied it in explaining why they had such a strong power.
Maybe that was the big thing is I don't think maybe it was needed at that point for him to make clear that they had a clear connection. Like maybe that was the big thing was like...
He could have literally just drained it.
Yeah, we're like, we know they're fucking connected with how powerful they've been. But yeah, so they have a little talk and but Kylo rips a necklace from her.
He does.
And he takes it into his world or whatever, his ship, his Death Star. But
and he says, run the diagnostics or whatever on this.
Yeah.
And tell me what planet it's
And they are able to find it.
Yeah, they are. I want to know the machine like that. That's pretty cool. You just pop something in there real quick. It just tells you.
And it's so convenient that all these alien planets have all just similar ecosystems to Earth. They're like, there's never like a crazy planet that has like giant, fucking like Venus flytraps or anything. It's always like a desert in Arizona or something like that. But yeah, so they go to this party, they have that thing, and then they go to a cantina, of course. They got to go to the bar, and who do they find in the bar? The old sea dog himself, Lando Calrissian.
In the bar.
They find him on Pisana, yeah.
Yeah, on Pisana, yeah.
Yeah,
not in a bar though.
It's like a meeting. Oh, it's in a
No, remember it's in one of the transports, of the but that was because the stormtrooper or not stormtrooper, whatever, found him. One of the guards found him and then he shot him and he was like, "Follow me." And then they followed him into that little like
it's like a moving
shop thing.
Yeah, it's maybe it was supposed to be the bar scene, but it's close to it. It's got all kinds of, but and Lando tells him that I can't remember why was Lando there again. It was because Luke told him
about where
or Luke and them went together to find dagger or something like that.
He was looking for Ochi's ship.
Yeah, and he got Lando, who's just the smoothest man in space. Oh yeah, right? He's fucking silky smooth. And you got a Billy D. Williams, man. He slid right back into that fucking role. He never left.
Like he never left. Yeah.
Yeah, smooth as hell. And that made me appreciate Childish Gambino's Lando also.
Absolutely.
Man, he did such a good job.
That was a highlight of that.
He did such a good job for sure. But yeah, so and Lando tells him that there's a ship out crashed or that Luke was looking for or whatever that he found,
which was Ochi's last location.
Yep.
For the Sith Wayfinder.
Yeah, and people just left this ship just out there, and it's been out there for a long time, and that's when they say that's where we got to go, right? And they go out there, and immediately they get sucked into the fucking quicksand.
Oh yeah, and this I didn't mind this action scene. I thought it was kind of fun. The stormtroopers chasing him and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. We didn't even get into that. Yeah,
with all the spaceship and stuff because they're like, we found the.
That's maybe the best action scene. Was them launching from those fucking. And
I love that they're like,
they can fly.
They can fly now. Yeah, like
even though Boba Fett had a jetpack a long time
ago.
Like, why are they just now getting this technology? Like, why are they? I know
Mandalorians had it for a long time.
It's like they're the most advanced. The Empire is the most advanced civilization, but they're also the most do things a backwards way.
They're really dumb. I mean, the Ewoks beat them.
Yeah, I don't understand their technology. It's weird.
I don't get it. Very strange.
It's very like analog and
they still can't hit shit either.
Oh no!
I mean, goodness gracious!
It's not even.
I mean, Poe got glanced.
Yeah. He
got just barely glanced one time.
Finally.
Yeah, finally.
After 8,000 fucking shots.
He hit one guy.
Yeah. Is every stormtrooper cross-eyed or something? They cannot.
They're not shooting well these days.
But Chewbacca and everyone, they're just nailing every shot.
Oh my gosh, every shot, dude. They're sharpshooters.
I guess
it's
that's why
pretty impressive.
I guess that's why they're
still alive.
Survive so long. Yeah, it's because they can't miss a fucking shot. But yeah, so they do that. They fend off some stormtroopers, and then they get sucked into the sand.
Yep.
Then they find out it's like a cavern. It's got sand systems, sandworms. It's always
and this was a really funny scene. This was one of my favorite. I laughed so hard at this scene when they're all falling through, right? Poe gets up.
I know
and
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
He's like, Ray. He goes, Finn, are you guys all okay? And he just goes, I'm okay, sir. I know you didn't say.
C-3PO was the comic relief, and it landed almost every time for me. Every time I thought it was funny.
That line made me laugh so hard.
He had lines like that all throughout the movie where he was like establishing how underappreciated. But yeah, that made me laugh. That was probably the hardest I laughed out loud. It was like, I know. He's like, I know you didn't say my name, but I'm
okay. Yeah, that's what it was.
Man, they just treat him like shit.
They do.
They really just do not care.
They don't appreciate
C-3PO. Ever since the first one, they did not fucking care about this guy.
I like
and
it,
he's
though,
like
'cause
the
he's
most
always just
useful.
frazzled, always
Speak 9,000
It's
languages.
pretty impressive.
Yeah, except for one language. He's
And
not
that's
allowed
the
to
Sith,
speak.
the
That's
language of Sith. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so they go and we find out that Rey can now heal people.
And this was so obvious to me that they were going to use this later on.
Oh my god.
So
of
obvious because there
course.
was no like purpose for
Well,
it.
she ends up using it multiple times at really important scenes. Of course, it became just like I don't know, like an anchor plot point for them to keep going back. Every time you think someone's dead, Rey's gonna heal you.
Force heal. Okay, they're back alive.
Now we don't even have to make up reasons for them to come back.
No.
Rey's just touching
Rey
everyone.
just touches everyone. I mean, she is really Jesus Christ at this point.
She is the most
She's
powerful
resurrecting
Jedi of
people.
all time, yeah.
She's like healing people.
She heals that fucking sandworm who probably just murders how many
people?
fucking
Yeah.
tribesmen? A lot of them. What's that thing eating? Of course it's eating people, but she heals
Probably
it.
one of the people that injured the snake at getting attacked.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course, fending off themselves. But yeah, so she heals that worm, and the worm doesn't kill him, but he moves out of the way, and we find out that that Ochi just fell down and died.
Yep.
And just yeah, that's it. And they find the dagger.
And they find the old cruiser down there too. And then C-3PO goes up to it and goes, "Oh, this is an emblem from a Sith loyalist."
Yeah.
Or loyalist. Yeah.
Yeah, Ochi had a fucking cruiser on his shit. That guy had it all.
And he got sucked in the sand trap with a cruiser, you dummy.
Yeah, I forgot the whole cruiser got
Yep.
sucked down there. Yeah, and he could
And
not.
that's where they found it.
Yeah, and he couldn't find a way out. If only he had healing powers.
If
Because
only.
the worm was blocking the exit, remember? That giant fucking worm. But yeah, so they get the dagger and they and Chewie, and they almost leave the fucking dagger. But Chewie grabs it on his way out. And then it's probably going to be important.
Yeah, I would say.
But somehow they're on their way out. Somehow Chewie gets grabbed.
He does. Because remember Rey walks out because she senses Kylo near in the Knights of Ren. And she walks out. And then Finn's like, "What is she doing? Chewie, go tell her that we need to get going."
Right, yeah.
And then Chewie starts
gets
to walk out.
immediately grabbed.
And then he gets grabbed by the Knights of Ren
Yeah.
and the stormtroopers in the corner.
Yeah, the
with
Knights of
two
Ren are
ships.
there. They're looking menacing, not doing anything.
Right.
But
And then
they're-
Finn pops his head out.
Yep.
And then he notices Chewie getting captured and then screams to Rey as Rey's running.
Yeah. And should we
Back-
establish that Finn is also a Jedi now?
He's Force sensitive. I don't think he's a Jedi.
Yeah, he's Force sensitive.
He's Force
Well, which
sensitive.
is all Jedi are Force sensitive.
Right, which again is
Which
he a
means
Jedi or is he not a Jedi? You could have developed Finn so much more.
Well, I
It
just
could have
don't
been a
understand
really
why they
cool
added in that
storyline.
he was a Jedi.
I
Why
don't know.
do they? I'm guessing maybe they're planning on doing more with him or something. But
Well, what, like standalone films?
I guess why add that in? That was
I
the
have
whole.
no
That was
idea.
the whole secret of him going. Remember that they established earlier on. Rey, I gotta tell you something. And he never fucking says anything.
Well, right, and then let's talk about the Force Awakens.
I'm guessing
I mean,
that's
he
what he's
held
saying.
his
Yeah.
own against Kylo Ren in the Force Awakens in the snow before he got his back.
What are the odds?
obliterated.
everyone's a Jedi.
Yeah,
It's
so
just
like,
you're every average Joe you're running into. Half of them are fucking Jedis now. Yeah, I don't know why. I didn't think they needed that part for him to be a Jedi because that was the whole thing, and they never got to him telling her either.
Yeah,
Like that was such like a big point it seemed of him telling her, "I gotta tell you something." When they think they're all dying.
yeah, and I really thought they were going to get back to that, and they just
They
never did.
no.
They just
Finn
never
Finn
did.
asked him later on. He was like, "What do you have
Poe
to tell her?"
asked him.
And Poe.
Yeah.
Poe asked him, and he just changes the subject.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he just says something like, "You wouldn't understand." And then again, they never get
They
back.
never
to it.
got back to it. It was
Yeah.
just completely open ended, even up till the movie was over.
Yeah, even
So
at
it's
the
like,
very end, I
okay.
thought he was going to run out and be like, "Oh, one more thing.
I'm a Jedi, and I've been
Never
fooling you.
He
You
was
ain't
too
know I'm
busy
Jedi.
fucking every girl he ever
was.
fucking met.
You gotta admit, I mean, the
he's
man
got-
was.
he's got some
game. Yeah, he really does. Gotta hats off.
And
to
they
Finn.
they totally pulled a Jar Jar Binks with Rose in this one.
They did.
They totally.
And you know, I really
remember in the second movie, Jar Jar Binks. He was just like a diplomat now.
diplomat,
We
yes.
saw him like the 2 times. Like for one, who would ever let that guy be a diplomat? He's got like a 3rd grader's IQ.
He's an idiot.
But they did the same
idiot.
thing with Rose.
Yeah, they
We're like, Rose, aren't you coming? And
Yeah,
she's
she's
like, I gotta.
I gotta go fix the speed cruiser.
Leia's coming. We're doing something I can't sweep in.
I got work orders out the ass. I'm fucking 4.5
She's got
months
absolutely
behind.
nothing going
problem.
on. She's got nothing going on.
No.
Yeah.
Leia wanted to keep her busy for the 9th film. She said, no.
Yeah, but they pulled the whole, and that was the whole thing of like, it seemed like at points it was working against Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Or they were just thought they had to right all these wrongs.
I know. And I wish, like, I do feel bad for the actress. Like, I feel super bad. Because it's like, you get cast in Star Wars, that's the greatest day of your life. Like, that is so cool. What an experience.
Yeah.
You know? But I kind of wish they would have done something. I mean, something with Rose to, like, make why did we have her in 8 then?
Yeah.
If she just became nothing in 9.
No.
It's just everything about
'Cause
Rose.
they jarred her, yeah.
Nothing.
Same thing with the actor who was Jar Jar Binks, thinking his life was gonna just blow up.
Yeah.
And then he just gets death threats for the next 30 years.
I know.
He's never in another fucking role in
Dude,
his
people
life.
were ruthless to that actress too. I think her last name's Tran, but I felt so the Rose character.
Yeah, Star Wars fans are
they're horrible.
the worst.
They're really
they
bad.
ruined that kid,
And that's really not
the kid who
okay.
played Anakin in episode 1. They were
Yeah.
sending, he was like 11 years old, and he was constantly getting death threats. It ruined his life. He'd never acted again.
No, and he's been in a lot of legal trouble. If you
Yeah,
look him up,
and he's got all kinds of, I hear, mental health issues
Yeah.
too.
Well, I
People
mean,
are fucking.
That was on the cusp of the internet too. So like you're dealing with all of
Yeah.
that shit. It's a sad situation. I don't know why people are like that.
No.
Stupid.
Why put so much
of your energy into a movie?
that
like
you have
can talk about it, but it's like
that
that's
you
where
have
it
nothing.
ends.
You have nothing, no stake in it.
Yeah, none. Like calm down. It's a
Yeah,
movie.
yeah,
Like,
you have no
jeez.
dog in the race. You're
You
not
can have
losing.
discussions
You
about
should
it,
be
but don't
happy
send
that you're
death
getting.
threats.
I know exactly.
Insane. It's
People are-
insanity,
yeah.
man. People are nuts.
Yeah, that's
Wild.
another day, another
Yes, it is.
podcast.
Another
Trying to
podcast.
dive into the mind of
But
people.
I know, but when I bring up Rose, I feel like we need to talk about that a little bit, just because like
Oh yeah, because it's a
it
constant
is.
thing.
Yeah, it is.
You could not make a trilogy without having.
And
a
I
character
never want us
receive-
to come across as that either,
No.
where it's like we're like that, even in the slightest. But anyway, yeah. But the whole Rose thing was just very strange to me in this movie, where you are right on that. Where it was
Oh,
like,
for sure.
oh, I gotta go fix the speed cruiser. I gotta go.
Shit!
do
Look at the
this."
time. She
Oh,
doesn't have a
yeah.
watch on. I gotta go. It's half past
Yeah.
space time. I gotta get out of here. All right, Rose. I'll see you later. Acting fucking weird these days, but because it was like she was just like making an excuse.
Just always got.
Because she's like, Leia's got me doing stuff. Why Leia's like on her death?
yeah, she's like dead
She's got a
already.
blanket or folded. She's just like working her mouth like a puppet. All right, Leia, I gotta go.
Gotta go. Gotta
What's
jet.
that? You yelled my name. But yeah, so they get the dagger and they got to translate it. But
Yeah.
C3,
Right.
he can't translate.
Yeah, that's the one language he cannot translate.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Which
forbidden.
who programmed him that way? Because
Well, if you listen to him very carefully, he was talking. It was actually a prequels reference when he said the Republic back in the day would not allow them to translate Sith language.
but
before they cut him
Anakin
off.
built him at a
But
scrap.
remember, he was reprogrammed at the end of the trilogies.
Well, yeah,
the prequels.
He was
The
yeah,
prequels.
he was erased. All the droids, all the droids
So
are
then
supposed to
at
be
that
erased,
point,
except they
I
never
think-
erased R2D2.
Yes.
His memory. So he is the most clear. And I liked that little bit too where C3PO goes, because they're like, don't you have backups with R2D2 or whatever? And he's like, he's got the worst memory ever. Although he has
the
the entire
one.
collection
Yeah.
of over what? I mean, fucking 60 years. He has from the prequels, he has all that memory. Yeah.
Right. Well, and you remember from the prequels as well. Well, not the prequels, rather the original films.
Yeah.
He did that footage in the Last Jedi. So
And not only that, but he's held on to Leia's message.
That's what I was talking
Oh,
about,
yeah.
Leia's
So how could
message
he
in
have
The
a
Last
bad
Jedi.
memory?
Yeah.
What the fuck was C3 thinking? He's got a crystal clear memory. The guy's
He
good
does.
as hell. But yeah. So they got to
that
go.
hard drive in him. What do you think that is? Fucking 20 terabytes? I mean, shit.
It's got to be more. He's lived a lot of lives.
Yes.
You got to think. In the Clone Wars, it was him and Anakin going
Yeah,
everywhere. That was
everywhere.
his.
Yeah, imagine the logs. That would have been fun.
It was
all
his,
the Clone
yeah.
Wars series with him. Yeah,
I know.
it's a lot of memory.
That's the kind of fucking you want to have R2D2 as your grandpa. He could just sit you down and tell you,
Tell you the
wild-
greatest stories about the Clone Wars.
You would have to sit down for years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's always a cool fact to know that it's literally all logged in through R2D2.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is the R2D2 saga. He's the thing that connects everything. But yeah, so they got to go translate this. But then they got to go hack into C-3PO, and they got to go to another planet. Again, boom, boom, boom. They're shooting all over the fucking galaxy. Never at one planet long enough to establish anything. They got to go. Poe's got a friend, an old friend, on another planet. What's that planet called?
Kijimi.
Oh, Kijimi, of course.
Kijimi, yeah, Kijimi. Yeah, we've heard it a million times. We know this planet.
Kijimi, like the guy who told him about the mole, does not last long, unfortunately. No, he doesn't. Kijimi, unfortunately, lasts about 30 minutes in this film before we get the full fucking power.
It was kind of like an Alderaan thing where you're like, oh yeah, Alderaan, boom, gone,
that
obliterated.
That planet's gone, yeah. But so Poe's got a whole thing. Because we don't know anything about Poe, but we know kind of getting his background now that he was
a spice runner.
Imagine that. He has the exact same story of Han Solo.
Crazy.
Exactly.
Wow.
That. Not
Who
even
would
that.
ever guessed?
Not even that, but he can light travel skip.
Okay. Yeah.
Only 2 people in the world can light travel.
Yep.
It's Han Solo and fucking
and Poe.
and they've only met
and imagine
20.
That.
They met for maybe 20 minutes.
And here's a third thing as well. Imagine that he screwed over his crew.
Yes.
And he left, and she's still paying for it.
Yep.
Wow, just like Han Solo used to
That's
do.
the thing. It was so formulaic, this whole thing with that. There was no... I'm like, that is so on the nose. Like, are these guys like father and son? Like, they've only ever met in, like, passing. They've said, like, 5 things to each other.
But yet they're the
But that
exact
man
same
is a
person.
mirror image of fucking... It's wild.
And do you think Laura Dern kind of tied that in The Last Jedi when she goes, I know the kind of hot shot, shoot before
Kind of,
asking
but-
questions.
But
Like-
did Leia never say anything? Like, you are exactly like
Like my husband. Yeah.
Like, never that, but you have similar skill set. You can both do the exact same thing. It's
You're former spice runner. You screw people over constantly.
You can light skip out of fucking nowhere.
The only
he does
thing,
that.
the only thing different about those two is I believe Han Solo was more charismatic with like his charm of trying to get away with things. Poe was a lot more hot-headed.
Poe's funny though.
Poe is funny. Yeah.
I think Han Solo maybe was, although Han Solo was always.
Han was funny too.
He was funny too because he was so
Yes.
arrogant and he
was
wasn't
super
really good at anything.
I mean, the most
he was
iconic
a good shooter and whatnot.
And you know what? If we're gonna talk about Han Solo's scene, because we're talking about his humor, I loved that scene with Ben when he was like, Kylo wanted to say, you could just see it in his eyes. He wanted to say, "I love you, Dad."
Yeah,
And Han Solo goes, "I know."
I like that whole thing.
That was my
yeah,
favorite
I did
part of
like
the
that
whole
scene,
film.
But yeah, so they go to Kijimi
Yeah.
and they find Carrie Russell, who has a nice little long part in this. I'm not even going to call it a cameo because it's a pretty big
It
part.
is a big part.
She's great. She's awesome and everything. But yeah, and they because Empire is on this planet a lot for some reason. So it's really on lockdown.
Yeah.
So they got to go sneak around, and they have to go. They're in cloaks and whatnot, and they go and they find This is probably my favorite part was that the guy who hacks into robots.
Oh yeah. Buku, what was his name?
Buku Freak.
Buku Frick. Yes.
Buku Freak. He was hilarious, and then he was in the cockpit at the end. Like
was a
she brought
great
him along.
character.
Like Buku, get in that ship.
Yeah.
We were doing this together. He was hilarious. He was
great.
so funny. Him yelling the whole time.
Mangoes,
Yeah.
blink, blink, bye bye. So
And then
funny.
C-3PO at the very end going, oh wait, maybe I know another way, and he just fucking plugs in and he just starts screaming it. I love that character.
It was awesome.
Loved him. I
Yeah.
want an entire series following Buku Freak.
Yeah.
Because he was great. Little tiny guy too.
Yeah,
Just,
very small,
maybe
very-
6 inches tall.
Not a very big character.
But great with the robots.
He is.
He could
knows how to
splice
play.
into anything.
Yeah.
He spliced into C-3PO. He kind of turned into a Sith robot for a little bit. His eyes got all red.
Got red, yeah.
But that was a great scene. You never
was.
thought, to me, you would never think so emotional about C-3PO. But that scene of him doing the whole thing, I want to look one more time at my friends.
friends.
Even with them thinking, it doesn't seem like it was a very big deal to anyone
to
else.
anyone else. I know. And that's
But again,
like
they can't
his
stand
thing.
this
They
fucking
can't.
guy.
And it's so sad because it's like C-3PO like genuinely cares about everyone. And no one seemed to really care when he was like, yeah, okay, just hook him up.
Yeah,
Oh, poor
yeah,
guy.
Yeah. Oh, I got one more idea, and they just fucking fry his memory. But yeah, because they have to wipe his memory to be able to splice into him. But yeah, and Carrie Russell's character's name is Zori Bliss.
Zori Bliss, yes.
Which is it's a cool space name. But yeah, so they hack in there and he reveals the
coordinates.
The coordinates.
Yes.
He reveals it one time and then he kind of fries out. And then it's funny. Again, the comic relief was the best part about C-3PO because he wakes up and he's rebooted. He has to introduce himself.
He goes, hello, I am C-3PO, human cyborg relations. And then Buko Freak goes, I am Buku Freak. He goes, what's your name? He goes, Buku Freak or whatever.
And I love later on, he sees Buku and he goes, oh my God, that's my longest friend. Because he's the first person they met.
That scene.
Because he was the first person they met. So
that was a great joke too. See, a lot of the C-3PO jokes landed from me.
I know.
Actually, all of them.
Yeah.
I thought they were all funny. Yeah.
I know.
Good moments.
They were smart to give him so many lines. But yeah, that was really fun. But yeah, he ends up revealing the location.
He does.
Of this Pathfinder. Yep. And but first they have to get off the planet or whatnot. And who's there? Who tracked him there?
Oh, no, none other than Kylo Ren.
And how'd he do it? How'd he track him? Because he goes down the planet because he knows where they're going and whatnot, and then they go up to the Death Star because Rey finds out that Chewie's still alive.
Mm-hmm.
And we forgot that we didn't even talk about that Rey had to use Force lightning to try to get Chewie down, but it obviously just.
Oh yeah, that's right. Let's talk about that real quick. So we'll go back to that
because Kylo Ren's there and he wants to like see how much power she really has, and he also knows that she's Palpatine, and he's been teasing it the whole time. He says, "I know who your parents are, and they weren't nobodies." Because remember, in the last movie, her parents are just junkers or whatever he said, trash people or whatever the hell they were. But in this one, he tells her, and she uses her powers, and then they do the. Well, then he shows up with his Star Destroyer. Mm-hmm. She gets a vision that Chewie's still alive. She goes up to that ship in a ballsy fucking move. It's risky for sure.
It is. Risky
just
business.
go into the fucking.
Not well planned at all.
Oh, I know. I mean, but well executed, of course.
And we got to talk about Zori Bliss giving Poe the Admiral's pennant or whatever you want to call it.
That allows you to get through
to anything without any questions.
And she's been like working like 10 years to get this thing.
And she just gives it to him.
Yeah.
She's like, take it.
And Poe's just trying to fuck her the whole time.
I know. She goes from wanting to kill Poe.
I like those scenes though. Poe and Keri Russell's character, they had good chemistry together.
Yeah, they did.
Because that scene when he was like, "You want to,"
she shook her head. No,
obviously not. Yeah.
There's a bunch of people around you.
This is not a good day.
Yeah, no, it's not. Ask me in 10 minutes.
Yeah, so that's how they get onto the ship, which of course makes more sense, but it's still very fucking risky.
It is.
And as soon as they get on, Rey's like, "Okay, see you later. I gotta do something different." And they're like, "Well, we didn't even want to get up here in the first place, so now we're up in here." But anyways, and they have no idea, but they got to go find Chewie, and they don't really know where he's at, but they end up finding him, of course. And but Rey's got to go to Kylo Ren's quarters because what is she trying to get?
She's got to get the dagger.
The dagger, because they took the dagger from Chewie.
From Chewie,
and,
yes.
We also got, we didn't talk about, but it was very cool, Kylo Ren force choking that guy and then throwing him up
to the ceiling.
And all the scenes where because in this one, they've made General Hux just the biggest bitch. His character went from Nazi Hitler to just someone that just gets stomped on.
It was so frustrating.
It honestly was.
The character arc for
it was so
Hux
meek
was
and weak. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
irritated.
He just became a weasel at the end.
Yeah.
I liked his death though. I did like the way that
I didn't like it.
Why not?
Because I just didn't like the character arc of Hux whatsoever. Hux was the...
Well, it was kind of stupid. The whole thing
dumb.
where, like, his idea, like, how is he ever going to get away with that?
Yeah, and then, like...
no one would ever believe that story.
Never.
They jumped me, and they shot me.
Well, and no one would... When they revealed that he was the spy, I was just like, please don't tell me we just did this.
Oh, yeah.
Hux being the spy... Why?
Yeah.
Why? Because he didn't want Kylo to win. But that's just not a good answer to me whatsoever.
He just hated Kylo. It was just all about revenge.
So he's going to turn on the entire First Order because
he just wanted
and
to
then
have revenge. That petty
go back
revenge.
to the table and continue to pretend like he wasn't the spy. Mm-hmm. That makes no sense to me.
In the most advanced fucking Star Destroyer of all time, he was just going to lie to him and go, they just jumped me. They got away. What I meant, I guess, when I said I liked his death was that guy knew immediately that was bullshit.
Oh, yeah,
because who would fucking believe it? What do you unless you were born yesterday?
Well, and that's the thing. That's kind of what I feel like. It really sucked because there were, obviously two different directors, two different ways that they interpreted where it was going to go. and like Hux was supposed to be like the supreme general, kind of like, honestly, like Hilarion. Like that's what it reminded me of when he's given that speech in The Last Jedi. There were a lot of like weird resemblances to like Nazi Germany, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, that's what
With,
the
like,
whole
the red
empire.
banner
That's
and
what the
all
whole
that.
empire
Well,
is.
right.
Yeah.
But like
They're
when I
straight
saw
up
that, I was
Nazis,
like, wow,
yeah.
he's a powerful general. Like, and that speech was really good. The actor gave a great performance during the speech, and then they just turned him into a weasel, just like like so weak, and like you just didn't have any respect for him.
No, he went from being kind of scary to just being a character you just.
Well, I hate
and it was
that.
it wasn't.
And then
the only part I
the way they
liked was
replaced
Kylo.
him-
Kylo made him his bitch.
He
just
did.
one. I mean, just like.
He did, but then they replaced him, and then all it took was, I was a general from the old war.
Yeah,
And I was
I didn't mind. Obviously,
minded
again, that was just most formative because they were just making that guy a new General Tarkin.
But why not just keep Hux?
They're just straight up making that guy because Hux was just I don't know, he was weak at that point. I don't know because you had to establish that someone was working with Darth Sidious the entire time, and Hux isn't that old. So he wasn't from the old empire.
Yeah, I
so
guess
you
so.
had to have some kind of connection.
Yeah, good point.
That
Yeah.
was the only, and I didn't mind those scenes with that new, and that guy is amazing in that part. But they were one.
No, he was really good.
But
in
again,
it.
they
I didn't
could-
have a problem with him.
But again,
It
they
was
couldn't
just-
make him his own general. They had to make him Tarkin.
Mm-hmm.
They just had to rip Tarkin off 100%. Like, why not just make him a new scary fucking general? There's a lot to go off of.
Right.
But again, he was just fucking Tarkin, and he was 100%.
And I think the general they killed off, I can't remember the actor's name, but the general they killed off in The Last Jedi in the opening scene would have made for a really good general.
Yeah, you're talking about when the Rose's sister died.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
No.
can't remember the actor's name, but he's really good.
Yeah, that guy died fucking quick too.
Quick, yeah.
But yeah, so they go, or yeah, well, we kind of skipped over it, but they all get trapped or they all get found out.
Mm-hmm.
But Poe and them all get found out with breaking out Chewbacca. That's when Hux turns, shoots those the stormtroopers, and that's how they escape. And they do a little fake. It's the classic "shoot me once, no one's ever gonna think twice about it." And I liked that scene with Finn shooting him in the leg instead of the arm.
instead of the arm, yeah. He's like, just shoot me in the arm. They'll never say, oh.
Yeah, now I can walk, you fuck. Yeah. The arm's a lot. I mean, you can
It's a
still
lot
do shit with the
easier, yeah,
arm,
you
but
can.
the leg now you. But yes, because I mean, obviously, and it was such a quick transition from this guy being the most evil guy in the world to now we gotta trust this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it would be. I think he could have turned on him just as much by him bringing all of them to the leader. That would give him more fucking credit.
Exactly.
Than whatever they were trying to do with him throwing Kylo out. What did you think was going to happen if Kylo died? They were just going to promote Hux?
I guess so.
Hux wasn't in
Next
charge at
in
that
line,
point.
no.
Hux wasn't even in charge at that point. He was like the fucking cleaning the toilets at that point.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, Hux is the mole. And Kylo and Rey have the little force off again. And Kylo finds out that Rey's on his ship.
Because they had a battle, and then they knocked over the the display of
Yep.
the helmet of Darth Vader.
Yep. And Kylo says, lock it down. They're on the goddamn ship.
Yep.
You fucking morons. How did you let a ship? So they lock it down, and again, this whole time, the Knights of Ren are just walking around.
They're just walking around doing nothing, just hanging
just
out
looking scary.
down at Kamiji or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay.
Just looking,
Kajimi, rather.
looking frightening.
Yeah.
But this is where we
And
get...
they head back up, and then inevitably Poe and all them get captured.
Yep.
But this is something that always strikes me in Star Wars, and I know you got to let the good guys live. But they just decimated. They just shot like 30 stormtroopers,
Yeah.
and
Easily.
then
Dead. Yeah.
and then like they're like, "Oh, we're gonna hold you captive." And I'm like,
Like, why don't they just open
shoot.
fire?
Yeah,
Like,
just
these guys have killed
execute 'em.
so many
Yeah.
stormtroopers.
Like, how do you not just execute them on the spot?
Never,
But
they
they
never
always take them captive.
Yeah, they're really good at following orders. I
They
guess
are.
it's always take prisoners. It's never take prisoners.
I know.
It's always, no matter what.
You can destroy planets,
Yeah.
an entire civilization, but let's take a couple
You
prisoners.
gotta let them. They know who the main characters are. They know. It's on my ass.
Yeah,
if I
it
gotta.
is. I can't kill main character. I'm just a stormtrooper. Nobody.
Yeah, and the whole But
I always find that funny though. When I was watching this one, I really was like, huh.
oh, same.
They'll destroy
yeah.
planets, but they always capture them and
And
hold
they'll
them
shoot
prisoner.
civilians
For no reason.
without a fucking blink.
Right. I mean, Jonna was literally talking about that with like Finn.
Yeah.
About how they just shoot civilians.
But these
for no
literally
reason.
the enemy. It'd be like us running up on like fucking suicide bombers.
Exactly.
Be like,
we're gonna
not
capture
suicide
you.
bombers that have already killed so many people.
Be like, we're gonna hold you captive.
Yeah.
Drop your weapons.
Don't risk it.
No, just shoot them.
And because of that, the Empire fell again.
Imagine if they would have just executed those people immediately.
Well, it all just turns out that it's just stormtroopers not doing their job.
No.
That the Empire can't do anything.
They never have done their jobs. They're awful.
But during that whole scene, it's revealed. That's when it's revealed that Rey is Palpatine's daughter.
Correct. That's when he tells her.
Because they have.
Well, not right at that moment, not in the battle moment, but then
No.
like when they're captured and then they escaped with Hux.
Yep.
And then they're getting on the ship. They leave, right? And Rey's there. That's when he reveals it to her.
And Rey can't believe it.
No,
She
she
goes,
can't.
No. I could believe it.
I can believe it too.
I can believe it. How did Rey not see that?
The
shit
first
coming
flash in the very beginning, and then with obviously the Force lightning coming out of her fingertips, I was like, "Oh, Palpatine, there it is."
Yep.
You just kind of knew,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, you knew there had to be a connection. At that point, you knew she wasn't Luke's daughter.
Of course, no.
So
And
you
you
knew
knew
there was
she
no way.
wasn't
So there was
Obi-Wan's daughter either.
there was only one other person she could have been.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that would have made any
Sense
had
whatsoever.
impact or anything. Would have been Palpatine. Yeah. So it was not nearly the reveal of any
That
of
they
the
were
reveals
hoping.
of the originals. It wasn't nearly as big as the fucking Luke, I'm your father. Obviously.
I am your father.
Yeah,
No,
Luke,
I am your
father.
father. No, it's commonly
Oh,
referred
I know,
to
I
as
know,
that,
yeah.
but it says no,
It's-
I am your father.
Yeah. Well, Luke, I am your father. Sounds better.
It does sound better.
Sounds
it does
way
sound
better.
It does.
But so the group's got to go to another fucking planet, right?
Yes.
Because they haven't been to enough. Now they got to go to Kefbar, which is this planet that a big piece of the Star Destroyer landed on,
Yes.
right?
And that where the map where you
Pathfinder
find out
is,
for the dagger though is the map for the dagger, but where you're right, where the Pathfinder is.
Yeah, well, the map they got
Or
from
the Wayfinder,
the map they got from the Pathfinder from the dagger pointed him to
To
Kefbar.
the Wayfinder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it ended up being it was just on the Death Star the entire time.
hanging out there.
Palpatine didn't hide it.
He didn't
Just
think
kept
to
it.
just take it. And if you watch the originals, there wasn't a door there either. In the throne room.
Yeah, because he's got a whole fucking room. He's got
Yeah.
all kinds of shit in there.
It's got a
that
lot
no
of
one-
stuff in there. And that was not
was
the
my-
original at all.
He was a
that
collector.
door. Yeah.
He had a
Weird.
lot of stuff that. Did Darth even know about that stuff?
I don't think so. I think it was a
'Cause,
surprise to him too.
Well, they go to Kefbar. They find other villagers. It ends up being their old stormtroopers. I guess we're on that piece and came down and we're like, we're just gonna live here and not do anything anymore. We're just gonna be fucking horsemen, and that's what they are.
They are.
And they can't. They end up making. They end up coming back into the movie again later with
They do.
with taking the horses. I thought that was so silly, like all this crazy technology going on or whatnot, and they have fucking horses. Not only that, but they took the horses on the ship and they landed on another ship.
They did.
Why weren't those horses like just freaking out?
Where
they've
the
never
hell
been.
are we? Why are we so far elevated up here?
Why am I on a ship? Why is all this noise? Why is there shooting going on?
It's a lot
These horses
happening.
are well trained.
They are very
for
well
never
trained.
leaving that planet. And they're not horses. They're some kind of space.
Whatever, yeah,
But they're
space
very
horse.
similar to horses. But yeah, they tell Rey that they can take him out there. They got a fucking little skipper, little dinghy we can take. But the swells right now, it's big old swells. I don't know what they landed on a wrong time.
Goodness gracious, those waves were
And
massive.
if you're a surfer, oh my god,
Best
dude,
time in the world.
It's heaven.
Yeah.
Really shred that gnar. But yeah, so she goes out there on her own, and they think she's crazy, but she's got the fucking.
She got the force and shit.
The
you know?
force.
She
with
knows
her.
what she's doing.
Yeah, she lands on it.
She's a professional.
She lands on it fine.
Just fine. Yeah.
because
glad she
they
didn't take
can't.
their advice.
They
They couldn't
can't
have done
take
it till
because they
tomorrow.
couldn't have taken the Millennium Falcon.
No, because it was crashed.
The landing gear was all shitty, so they had a rough landing.
They did. It wasn't the
They
best.
kind of just
landing.
parked her anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she goes to the well, this is the remains of the second Death Star.
Yeah, the second, not the first, but the second Death Star.
Yes.
And it crashes, and she gets there, and she does this big dramatic climb up. She almost falls,
Yep.
I thought that was the end of the movie.
But don't forget, she was a scavenger, Mason.
That's right.
So she had scavenging powers.
She did.
So she couldn't fall.
No,
She
it's
leveled
impossible.
up her scavenger skills. So
Between the
she
force and scavenging skills, she was on it.
Yeah. Turns out she probably could have just force leapt up there.
I think so.
She was jumping high distances later on. That I don't think she really knew the ability. But yeah, so she finds the
Wayfinder.
She finds the Wayfinder, and Kylo's also there.
But before that, I like that scene that they had with her where she walks into the throne room, she sees the chair, and then the door opens and she goes inside. And then she has a battle with herself. Being
I forgot the Darth,
yeah.
the Darth battle. Yeah.
Being the Darth Ray or whatever you want to call it.
Because that room ended up being one of those rooms or the pit or whatever that you always go in.
Like the crystal mirror kind of room.
Where you always go, where you
face your demons.
Where he had to go on Dagobah into that tree, and then Rey had to go in that asshole pit thing in Star Wars. Everyone's got those fucking rooms, I guess. Palpatine's got his own fucking room.
I like that lightsaber though that she was using, that double-sided lightsaber.
I'm guessing that's her lightsaber.
If she were to be a Sith.
Well, I'm guessing that's her staff.
Oh, good point. Yeah, duh. Yeah, it could have definitely been her staff.
I'm guessing that was her staff, and she just never thought of using that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I was thinking it was her staff. But so she does. She goes through all that, finds the Pathfinder, exits the room. Who's there? Kylo. At first, I'm thinking, is this a vision Kylo or is this a real Kylo?
Because she falls out and she drops the Pathfinder. God, I keep calling it that Wayfinder, and it skims through, and then he stops it with his foot.
Yep.
And picks it up.
And he fucking crushes it in his hand.
Right in front of her damn face.
Dust. He's very strong.
He's a strong man. That grip strength. I'd like to measure the grip strength with one of those
he's doing
things.
his hand crunches.
Yep. Those hand crunches are very important for forearm strength, folks. I mean, you really can get a nice grip on
they're undermined. People never think. Do the hand crunches.
Do it. You never know when you need wrist control.
Absolutely. But he crushes that, and Rey's pissed now. Because Kylo's now is like, if you're going to go, now you got to go with me. And Rey's not going with him.
No, I don't. It's not a date she wants to go on.
Yeah, Kylo's still kind of on the line. Kylo loves her. They love that connection. Yeah, but Rey was 100% not
digging it.
Not having it.
No, she was not.
Because they get into a bit of a fight.
They do.
And it ends up turning
bad.
Scuffle. Ends up turning bad for Rey. Kylo gets the best of her. He's about to strike her down. But then Leia, we get the flashback. And
we got to talk about that lightsaber scene with the waves crashing and stuff. I really like that scene. I like the lightsaber scene.
It was pretty good. Yeah, it was.
It wasn't. I still think the best choreography is definitely in the prequels. I love the prequels trilogy.
Yeah, I don't think that lightsaber scene was better than almost any fight in the prequels, and I don't think it was better than the throne scene from Last Jedi either.
Yeah, good point.
I don't think, but it was a good scene. But yeah, it doesn't come close to fucking Darth Maul versus Qui-Gon and Ben Kenobi. Yeah. That's my favorite lightsaber battle, and out of any of them, when he's just kicking them in the face.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. It's cool.
I love that fucking scene. But yeah, it was cool, but it just, I don't know. You could just tell that both of them weren't as experienced with the lightsaber. They haven't. Rey just cuts down a lot of trees.
She does.
Why didn't she throw the saber like she did in the past?
I don't know. She could have done a lot of things.
But then we're flashing back and forth, and Leia knows. She's like, I gotta get ready now, and she has her real daughter, kind of wheel her in there, and then she force speaks to Kylo.
Yep.
And it stops Kylo from killing Rey. We think he was probably gonna kill her. But
he ends up dropping his saber, and then Rey takes full advantage of that. She says, "Hey, fair is fair."
That's the thing. I'm glad it ended up happening like that. I'm glad she didn't I got advantage. I'm gonna force push him and just knock him out or whatever. Yeah. She just says,
"To hell with this."
Thank God, too. Obviously, you got to end that guy.
You got to.
There's no redemption for Kylo.
No,
like I said from the beginning,
thousands of people.
You don't come back from war crimes. You can't just explain that to people.
You can't be a sympathizer. You can't do it.
You really can't. So she stabs him in the gut. Yeah. Speaking of Darth Maul, speaking of being stabbed in the, well, he actually stabbed Qui-Gon in the gut. He did. But yeah, that's usually a kill blow.
It is.
And I liked it. It showed the wound too.
It showed the wound, and I liked it.
I liked it too.
I liked the way it showed the wound. And it really, I was like, wow, okay, nice.
Because you never get to see Darth. You never get to see lightsaber wounds.
No.
You never see. I want to see the close up on that
Exactly.
shit. But of course, no one's dead forever in Star Wars. No one's dead ever in Star Wars.
Of course not. No, it's literally impossible for main characters to die.
Yeah, because as Kylo's living there, twitching.
What does she do?
She has that power.
The Force heal. Yeah, she's got to warm up her hands a little bit.
This is gonna be good, Kylo. Ready?
Just give me a few seconds.
Feel that heat on there. You good still? Kylo's just barely hanging on. Yeah,
His eyes twitching back and forth.
Please help me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it right now. And she just absolutely electrocutes his ass. Oh, wrong power. Shit.
Gotta make the stuff.
Forgot to turn that off. But and then
she Force heals him.
Yeah, she does.
She
of
does,
course.
yeah.
It's nothing. Not a big surprise.
No.
I'm glad at least it didn't heal his clothing back.
Yeah,
at least
that
it
would've
kept
been
that
really
one. It
dumb.
kept that continuity where it kept at least that. But yeah, and then she pretty much just kind of, or the Millennium Falcon is it fixed at this time? Is that how they come and get her?
Yeah, the Millennium Falcon is fixed.
Because Kylo at this point is kind of just laying there, kind of taking it all in.
Well, yeah, but she actually runs and takes his ship though.
Oh, I forgot.
Yes, but geez, what's his name? Finn is on the ship because remember she force pushes him and goes no,
Yep.
and then that's when the Millennium Falcon comes and picks up Finn
Yeah.
and Jara
Yeah, because they were trying to go out there on their
or
own.
Janna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot because he's only got the only Pathfinder.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God he never took that out of his rig because he didn't need it anymore.
did not,
Thank
no.
God he kept that in there because it would have been
Been messy
the
to
story
try
would
to
have been
find,
over.
yeah. He just never thought it's like his car. Like he's like, I'll get it sometime.
Yeah,
you know, like that
or
case
never
of
even
water that you
never
just
even
forget in your
never
car.
take the keys out. I don't know how they work, but
I don't get it.
you got to lock up or something because
do.
she just hopped.
Well,
in
he
there.
put the dagger in his Star Destroyer. Why didn't he put the,
Yeah, exactly.
the Wayfinder?
that you don't need anymore.
Yeah.
You know where it's at. It's a one.
put it in your room
I'm
of
sure
artifacts.
your fucking super spaceship can remember the coordinates once it's been in there.
It is a weird thing.
But no, it's plot holes. You know, you got to keep that stuff in there. It makes it simple. But yeah, so she just leaves Kylo, and Kylo's kind of just still sitting there and be like,
like,
well, shit, this is a turn of events.
Yeah, he's like, first off, what happened? Second off,
How the fuck am I gonna get out of here?
it's like I can't even fucking swim.
Can I get a ride? Yeah. Yeah, so she flies off and she's going to Exegol finally. It turns out that she didn't even need to do all that shit because she ended up just stealing his ship anyways.
Yeah.
All that stuff that she went through
For
was
nothing.
just going to be crushed anyways. But thank God Kylo
Just
Showed
kept the
up.
Wayfinder in
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
But yeah, so she takes off, and then this is the scene. This is the Han Solo scene that we've been talking about the entire time. The scene that was, I'm most positive, originally supposed to be for Carrie Fisher.
Absolutely.
I mean, 100% for sure. But it's a good scene.
It's a great scene.
good scene, and Harrison does what he can, and he even looks a little older from when he died.
You think so?
I think so too. I think his hair.
thought he looked pretty good.
Something about his hair is maybe like thinning
Oh,
or
okay.
something like that. But yeah, I thought he looked good in Force Awakens, but now he's got to age sometime.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a matter of time. But they have a good moment where it's the same line for Force Awakens. You know, he says, "I know what I got to do, but I don't know if I have the power to do it." You know, it was a good moment.
was a good-
and this
yeah.
one, he's actually talking about the real being good instead of having to stab his dad. Because Harrison Ford going, "I can help you out, man. Just do it." He really supported him stabbing his own dad. But Harrison Ford, he convinces him, and Kylo turns around, and what all good Jedis do, huck that fucking lightsaber
in the water.
like he can just pick them off trees. These things aren't easy to
They're
find.
not easy to build.
No.
You gotta have you gotta
have the
find a-
kyber crystal.
Yeah, the crystal on top of it.
And they
Like, you
destroyed
gotta-
all those fucking
know.
crystals. So you just throwing. I mean, obviously, he didn't even have a working lightsaber.
No.
He'd have fucking exhaust ports and shit. He had wires hanging off his. But yeah,
Still in development process with
Yeah.
that bad boy. Yeah.
and it ends up being a dumb move because he ends up needing a lightsaber later in the movie.
Like,
At
I
that
wish-
point, he's probably thinking, "Shit, I wish I had my
That's it.
lightsaber."
I almost wish they would have done that where he threw it and he was like, shit, now what am I going to use?
What am I gonna fight people with?
That was dumb.
I forgot.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing. Is the
I would have just
lightsaber.
rather seen him just continue to use that lightsaber. He didn't need to throw it for me.
No, either did I. Him,
But then I get it at the end. She brought Leia's
and of course,
lightsaber.
and then how else are you gonna show that he's turned now?
That's true.
Rather than
he's
maybe
still got the red saber.
Exactly, and you kind of needed it in that scene because they don't actually hug or anything.
No, it was also symbolic.
Yeah, exactly. So we needed to see because otherwise it might have just skipped the scene that it might have been left vague. They're like, did it work?
Is he good? We don't know what's going on here.
But him throwing it, and he's got quite an arm on him. He does.
It's not bad.
If he wasn't a Sith leader, he might have been a center fielder.
He might have been a great pitcher. Could have been making a $200 million contract for the New York Yankees or something. But God forbid, play for the Red Sox.
But he hucks that thing,
he does.
and then he knows what he's got to do now. And he takes off all his black clothing, gets in his PJs, his Sith, his casual wear.
Casual wear, I don't know. Casual Fridays on the Star Destroyers.
Yeah, I don't know where. Yeah, does not look nearly as cool with because we didn't even mention he got a new mask in this one, right? He goes, and that was an awesome scene too.
That was cool.
Makes you feel so cheated because all the fucking knights are there, and it makes you think, oh, they all had to get their mask in this kind of way. They had to go to this. Was it Caesar? Was he a
Yeah,
ship?
I know. That's what I thought too. It was like a weird.
He was a monkey, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was like an animaloid, like
monkey, like they have chimps in this world.
With different types of ears. It was really strange.
Yeah,
and ears were
that whole scene was
like
cool. It was really cool, and but again, you just feel so cheated because you don't get anything. That's as cool as it gets.
It does.
Them looking cool is at their peak coolness. They're not.
They're literally just a posse. That's it.
They're all talk.
Yeah,
they're all talk. Yeah. Yeah. Why did he take these people? I have no Knights of Ren. They're the ones he obviously took from the.
From Luke Skywalker's.
Yeah.
Training.
Yeah.
Jedi training.
Yep.
Yeah. They killed all the rest.
What a waste.
What a waste.
What a fucking waste. Yeah. Those
they
guys
all could have been Jedi.
Yeah, because they don't have force powers, I'm guessing.
No, we didn't.
Did Kylo say, I'm the only force user in the group? Probably. We can all wear black. We can all wear masks.
It kind of reminds me of that Hot Rod moment. Like, no, only I party. He's like, no, I definitely party.
And he goes, and everyone's like, he does
party.
No, I'm the one who. Yeah, that's the kind of thing. Maybe he was like, I'm the force user here. I mean, we can't all use force. I mean, we'll look like a boy band.
Yeah, it was such a weird thing, man. Such a weird thing for me.
Well, it definitely was. It definitely was. But at this point, so Rey, she's going through some shit. But Luke contacts her. Mm-hmm. And, or is this...
No, she flies to Octu, remember?
Again, yes, we've got another planet, because she's just going to give up.
Oh, yeah, she's going to go and put herself in isolation, just like Luke did in the Last Jedi.
Just like Luke did, and then
she incinerates the ship.
Yeah, they're so quick to destroy
I know,
things.
The TIE fighter. Yeah.
They're going to need later on. Like, take a day.
I know. Like, just think it over.
You're in a kind of you got a lot of adrenaline pumping.
Right.
You're going to make rash decisions before you completely isolate yourself on this crazy, like, planet run by weird fish nuns.
Take a breather.
You got no way to contact people, so if that's your final decision. Thank God Luke's got fucking... He's got X-Wings floating around all over the goddamn ocean. But
she sets it on fire. And then she takes the lightsaber, the famous lightsaber that's been used for generations now, and she throws it away in the fire. And then we see, of course, Luke Skywalker, boom, catches it.
He says, only I can.
Yeah, lightsabers are supposed to have more respect than this, which I thought was... And I said it earlier in the podcast, but...
It was fun. It was funny.
It was funny.
Yeah.
And it was totally necessary, and I thought it was great. But
it was a little thing of him throwing the lightsaber. Like, is that lightsaber still in the ocean? The one that didn't he get rid of?
No, that one didn't fall in the ocean. Remember, she picked it up later on the rocks.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, he
didn't flip it in the ocean. He just threw it over.
He doesn't have a good arm.
No, he doesn't.
He's not Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren launched that thing 80 feet into the ocean.
Well,
he
if
threw
you
it,
look at
2
Kylo
feet?
Ren, he's nice and lengthy. He's got that pitcher's arm.
Oh, he's absolutely.
He does.
He's got
He's got good form too. I mean,
he definitely
they might have been
does.
Throwing some baseballs over in that
Jedi
and
he's tall and lanky.
Academy
he's
training.
tall and lanky. That's what all good pitchers are.
Yep.
It's not
that downward motion.
It's not about
pitching.
muscle.
No,
it's form. It's all about form.
is.
And throwing lightsabers, all about form. We've seen it 1,000 times. It's all about form. But yeah, so she goes back to that, and Luke talks to her, and he says, "You got 1,000 Jennies in you, my guy."
Like, well, I don't know what you're doing. Like,
Listen to him, and he's now,
your power.
and now she's got a lot of voices in her head. She's kind of a little schizophrenic at this point. But it was a cool scene. She was that whole scene, and then him rising the X-wing.
The X-wing, which is classic.
It's
great. I loved it.
Yeah.
But you got to wonder, did the gas sitting in there for 20, 30 years?
It's durable.
It is a durable machine.
You can't put a lot of things into the ocean for 30 years.
No, and have it look as good as that thing did. I mean,
you got to think, it was sunk in Dagobah as well.
It was.
And he just fired it right up. Those X-Wings, the Rebels can't do anything.
They're not made
right.
the same way anymore.
No, not anymore. Because I feel like a TIE fighter, you clip that thing, it explodes. It immediately just goes into that ball thing. Yeah. That always happens. But X-Wings, man, the Rebels got it right for once. They did. That's the model you want to go after.
It's the great kind of ship.
Because, that should be a commercial. 30 years in the ocean and she fires right up. Impressive to me.
Don't make them like we do, folks.
It ain't American made, I'll tell you that right now. That's off planet.
Yeah, it is.
But so now she knows what she's got to do, right?
Yep.
And now she's got another lightsaber as well. We don't forget about that
because
one.
Luke also took her up to grab Leia's lightsaber.
This was Leia's lightsaber.
You're going to need them both.
Because guess what? Leia was also a fucking Jedi that you had no idea.
And she was also training.
And I
for
trained
like 30 years.
And she was awesome.
Well, tidbit of information.
Yeah, she was trained by the greatest Jedi, Luke.
Of course.
But she gave it all up.
She did.
And I wish I could tell you why. Because I can't remember for the life of me what. Because it was something like, it was something so vague where he's like, she knew what she had to do.
Yeah.
She had to get rid of it. Like, why? It would have been clutch right now to have.
Yeah, but she told Luke to put it away because she knew someone would use it in the future.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of just,
yeah,
to get to this point.
Yeah, thank God he didn't just toss that thing over his
kidding.
Okay, thanks, Leia.
At this rate, everyone's just throwing away lightsabers. They're a dime a dozen.
And I was just waiting for her to connect both of them in her staff or something. I thought, man, we're going to get... And at least I thought she was at least going to use both of them. She does, but she never fights with them, really. She only uses...
deflects.
She just does the crucifix. And
classic, yeah. And just obliterates.
I was really... Because we
Sidious.
don't... Have we ever gotten a dual lightsaber fight outside of the Clone Wars? Outside of Ahsoka Tano?
I do not believe so.
I don't think we've ever had a Jedi use two lightsabers in a movie. That would have been fucking...
It would have been really cool.
I was hoping at least we're going to get one more fight between at least her and Darth Sidious or her and Kylo Ren again.
Yeah.
At least, that'd be so cool with the two lightsabers. Never got it.
We didn't get it. We didn't get anything close to that, as a matter of fact.
Never got it, but she does end up going to Exegol finally. After a lot of fucking detours, she gets to there and she takes the same path down.
Man, I gotta tell you. For the Battle of the Ages, I mean, the fleets are getting decimated. She sure does take her fucking time to walk through this place.
And it's so, at this point, they are so outnumbered. Like, what is there, 9 ships?
Is there a little sense of urgency here? I mean, she's just like walking very slowly, kind of like touching the artifacts. I'm like, get there.
Because the whole time, they sent Lando out because remember they established that they called everyone. Leia, the princess, called everyone, and no one showed up.
No,
and they literally say like she called out and said, "This is our last chance," and no one showed up. So the whole time they're thinking there's no one left. Again, Lando, 15-minute cruise by. He's got his window down. He's just saying, "Roll up, boys!
Round them up.
It's time we roll him."
He's just got that famous song, "Roll out,"
and everyone's thinking, and everyone's like, "Oh." I will do anything for that man.
Yeah,
they're like, I will, because he gets what, 1,000 ships.
At least 1,000, if not 10,000.
Because at first, they all get the coordinates or whatever. Because it's hard to get to Exegol, man. You have to like skip into that
to that weird like reddish,
weird growth kind of thing. So there's like 10 of them there following Rey, right? But and again, like right when they get there, the fleet is rising up, and they're all like, shoot them. So they all start firing, but they still somehow manage to, like, 5 of them survive. Just some.
I don't know how.
They got the same stormtroopers.
And they're trying to hit the antenna on the ground.
Yep.
But then it turns into the spaceship.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they're like,
or
we can flitch the. We have 2 antennas. We got one on the ground, one on the ship.
One in the ship.
but that's it.
That's it. We didn't put antennas on
extent of our
every
antenna
ship.
build. We're not antenna builders. We're ship builders. Okay, we know what I mean.
That's what we do.
But yeah, they. So that's the whole thing going on. Why Rey is down there with Palpatine is they have to go destroy that antenna because they found out that that's the only way that these ships can operate. But one does get out early, I guess, to destroy a planet because it destroys.
Kamichi, thank you.
Because
Kajimi.
Somehow that one got out early just to fuck with that planet, man.
Poor people.
Planet got shit on, yeah.
It did.
At least 2 survivors we know.
Yeah, 2.
Freak
Kajimi.
and Kerry Russell's character. At least they survived. But
and Babu Frick.
Yeah, he survived. But yeah, so she goes down there, and again, Kylo's also showing up at this point.
He did.
He's
a little behind.
From ship to ground, dead sprint. He knows where he's going. Doesn't know what he's gonna do.
He's not wasting any time.
Doesn't know what he's gonna do when he gets there.
He has no idea.
But he knows he's got to do something, and he gets. Eventually they catch up. But first, Rey runs into a grandpappy, which is fucking weird.
Hey, Grandpa. There's no family-friendly reunion here.
Nope. No. Because immediately it's fucking weird when your grandpa tells you gotta kill him. Imagine never meeting your grandpa the first day. He's like, all right, finish me off. You're here, baby. You did it.
What?
And Rey has pretty much the same reaction we do. She's like, no, I'm not.
I'm not going to kill you? This is very confusing for me.
Because Palpatine says, if you kill me, you're going to get fucking bum rushed.
All the Sith in you, just like I have in me.
And immediately I'm thinking, Palpatine just should have never said anything.
He should have just let her kill him.
He did the most Hollywood tropey thing you can do with
Villainous
the villain
thing.
explaining. Because after he explains it, she's like, oh, okay, so I'm not.
So I'm not going to kill you. Because
you want me to kill you, I'm just not going to.
She was definitely going to kill him.
So,
and then he told her, and then she was like, I'm not going to kill you. And then he's like, hold on.
And we joke about it, but he literally came down there, and he was like, oh, I feel it. I feel you're right about to kill me. And then he's like, but I got to tell you one thing, and I think you're going to like it.
Yeah, I think this will add a lot to this.
And I get that the whole thing is kind of like she had to accept it, but he could have sold it a little bit better.
Definitely good.
Him saying Grandpa's gonna be in you for the rest of your fucking life.
That's not what you want to hear.
I know.
If Grandpa tells me he wants to be in me, I'm like, Grandpa, I'm not coming to visit you anymore.
Why not say something like, oh, you can save all your friends or whatever? Because that was kind of the thing was I'm gonna stop killing them or whatnot, but it wasn't. He did not sell it. He was not convincing.
And it was the exact same thing that he did to Luke as well, where he showed him the battle.
Yeah, and the exact same thing he did to Anakin.
Anakin as well, actually, as a matter of fact, yes.
Exactly, he's done in every trilogy there's been, yeah. And not, well, I guess it worked for Anakin. I guess he got one cell. It never works for anyone else.
Sell the pitch the next 2 times.
Because as soon as people see the cell, they're like, well, I know what's happening here. I know. I saw what he did with Anakin. Right. It didn't work out.
Right, no.
He lied to him. He didn't save anyone. He ended up killing him.
Pretty much miserable.
Yeah. So Luke saw that and be like, okay, I'm not going to do it. Then Rey saw that, and it was a lot easier for her to say,
I've seen how this shakes out both ways, man.
It's not going to work out for me.
It's not. It's not something I'm really into. So
and then
I'm going to have to take a pass here.
Yeah, and it is silly because then Palpatine just goes, okay, I'll just fucking do it. Do it. He should have been in that mindset in the first place.
The whole time. He was the evil emperor. Why does
because he had to have Rey heal him first, I guess. Right? That was the whole thing was they were fighting, and remember, he absorbed her power or whatever, and he got his nubby fingers back. Yeah. Not like he looked great. He didn't like de-age or anything, but he got his hands back.
He did that when Kylo was there too, when Ben was there.
Yep.
That's when he started healing himself.
Because right when this is all going on and they're about to be, start fighting,
Kylo comes in.
And he immediately just tosses Kylo away.
He does. Well, and that was another callback to the film, too. After he's done killing the Knights of Ren, Kylo comes out and he goes,
we didn't even mention that. Right. He kills the Knights of Ren.
Pretty easily.
It's quick. It's a scene,
the Force connecting.
Their connection is so
hands
powerful.
The lightsaber to him.
He's able to kill him, which I think he could have.
That's at the climax where he was like, "Strike me down, and you will have the reign of 1,000 Sith."
Yep, and all the Sith are.
Yeah, Sith.
Which again, that was not clear enough to me that was Sith, and they should have looked like Force ghosts.
I have the Book of Sith, so like I've read through it, and I had assumed that that's all just generations.
So that might not be canon, though.
It's not, that book is no longer canon, which
That's
sucks
Star Wars
because
Legends.
like
So that
even
might
the-
have not been Sith Ghost, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, actually, the more I think about it, but they were all in dark.
I know, but that could have been a followers thing.
Yeah,
Like we're all gonna kind of look like him,
yeah, that's true.
and that's kind of just probably what Darth Palpatine said.
He's a narcissist.
He probably said,
likes
"I'm not
the
going to be
fandom."
making like overalls and stuff. We're all just going to wear cloaks. Okay, it's going to be
it's simple, easy to the point. We all wear the same thing. All right.
Yeah,
I'm making Star Destroyer.
We
I
don't
ain't got
have-
time to like sew you your
I
own
don't have
fucking
a
clothing.
gap I
okay?
can open up, and you guys can go shop for clothing. We're all going to wear robes.
I'm an entrepreneur. Okay, I'm not trying to do this. I'm
We
trying
got
to build
save
Star
material.
Destroyers.
It's not like there's sheep on this planet.
No.
But yeah, there's again he shows them, and but yeah, that's the big climax of her reaching. Like you think, oh my god,
Oh,
is
she's
she gonna
gonna
do it? You
slay
know,
him.
it's never gonna happen,
course not.
obviously. And he's shocked though. He's so surprised.
Oh,
He's not like he's
he
seen
didn't
this.
see that
Like he's
coming.
seen this 3 times already. And he goes, "Oh,
Really, I thought this time was gonna work.
And he says, "Well, fuck it, I'm gonna do it myself." Again, he's very powerful. He
He is.
immediately they can't do anything to him. Nothing. They can't even try to fight him. He immediately just paralyzes you. And that's just when Kylo runs in and he gets paralyzed immediately, quick. And they're both kind of floating up there. And he gets rid of the last Skywalker. You know,
After
says
he
that.
drains
Yeah.
both of them. Yeah. And then he goes, "You will fall like the last Skywalker."
I forgot that he did the life drain.
Yep.
The soul
Did the life
suck.
drain on him. The dark crystal.
Which I never
draining their essence.
Exactly. That's what. And he kind of made me feel like he was just a big Skeksis.
Yeah, he did.
That was all I
It was
feel like.
rude.
I never liked that old the like draining the life and like seeing like the essence, like it's like some kind of spirit or like soul or whatever. Like, is that metachlorians we're seeing? Is that what he's taking out of
that's
there?
what I was wondering too. Is it midichlorian or is it not? Like, what
Yeah.
are we doing? What's taking place here? This doesn't.
Yeah.
To me, it's just cheap.
Exactly. And
know,
now
it's
he
just-
can even suck souls out of people is another whole nother power that we had no idea.
We had no
he was
idea
able
happened.
to, which is
Well, and
which is
another
something
thing-
we would think he probably would have pulled out of his.
And that was another thing with Rey is like, where did she learn how to do all these powers?
She just learned them.
Just I know, just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like you look at the Force Awakens, she does the Jedi mind trick. No one ever taught her that. How did she
No.
know how to do that?
Well, she does it to a stormtrooper early on in Force Awakens. Remember?
That's
She's
what
just
I
that
said. The
powerful.
Force Awakens, yeah. And then you look and
When
then
you got
look
that
and she's doing
sweet-
like the Force healing and stuff. I'm like, how is she doing that?
She just feels it. Yeah.
It's
I know-
dumb though because you look at the prequels
That's what I was
and
gonna
like
say. It
the
throws
Jedi
out-
Temple.
They
like,
made
you
clear
had to-
rules. Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
they
it turns
made
out
clear
that their
rules.
Jedi's were just lying. None of the whole thing was like you got to get him before he's 10. You got to get him before he's ready.
Uh-huh.
Because remember the whole thing with Anakin
Yeah,
was like
that's what
we
I'm saying.
can't
Yeah,
train
he's
him.
too old.
Fucking Rey, she's 28.
Yeah, she's old. I mean, she's not old, but she's old. Way past that.
Yeah, but she learns quick. Like, why was that ever a rule then?
I know they kind of
It's like
threw
it,
out all
it
that.
throws
and
out
I
all
didn't
that
like
establishing where
Yeah.
exactly.
And I
Do
did
I
not
like those
like that at
clear
all.
and cut rules that they
Yes.
had? But
And
again,
that's one
there
thing
is
about the
no.
prequels. Their lore was really solid.
Yeah, but there's no Jedi Council in this. They erased all that, so anything can happen. I guess.
I do like Jedi. I like the Jedi Council. I like the Jedi Temple. That's my favorite kind of stuff.
Yeah, well,
Because it's rules. You can't just, now she can heal.
But it
oh,
ended
now
up
she
being
can do
too many
this.
rules that ended up being their fall. Them not letting Anakin become Jedi it ended up being the worst mistake they could have
Yeah,
possibly
I
made.
mean, they could have eased up a little bit.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But still, I mean, now it's
Mace
just,
Windu is going, no, you're not a fucking
I'm just
Jedi
talking about
Knight."
the principle of the Force. Like, now I don't even know what the Force is. I
Yeah.
used to know back in the day. Now I don't know. Now you can
No.
Force heal people. Now
But
you
I
can
really do think
whatever
that was
fuck
the
you
whole
want.
that's supposed to be the reasoning behind why the Jedi Council collapsed. And Luke says that early on too. Was like
Yes.
it was too much. Like they were always they're done and they can never go back to that
Mm-hmm.
because it was too many fucking rules. And they did have too many goddamn
They
rules.
did.
Big library full of fucking rules. Texts are not even allowed to read. Too many fucking red tape. It's
It
too much
was.
red
A lot
tape.
of
You
red
gotta
tape.
get through that bullshit. But yeah, so he throws fucking
Kylo
down a
or
trench.
Ben now, whatever.
Who knows? And again, there's no fall damage in this world.
Apparently
so
not.
It's been turned off. It's 'cause Kylo falls. Who knows to the center of the earth? I
I
think
could have been like 3,000 feet down.
we don't
but-
hear him land ever.
No, we don't. And how did he get back up?
He
No
climbed.
explanation. Oh, okay.
Just 9,000.
That was a pretty quick climb.
Well, he doesn't look too good when
No,
he
he
does come
does
back
not,
up. He looks like he probably fell, but yeah, and but at this point, it's looking good for the fucking rebellion because Lando pulled up with his crew of 8,000 ships,
Yep.
and they're blowing everything up. Everything's looking good, but then Darth Sidious says,
Here, Catch my lightning, fuckers. Throws up the lightning bolts, baby.
My tooth.
Yeah. Takes out the fleet.
My fucking tooth. Yeah, exactly. He's got so much fucking power. I mean, it's incredible
Yes.
at this point. I don't know what books he's been reading.
I
don't know what exercise he's been doing down there, but he's been working that. And of course, he did go and suck life out of Rey in both of them.
Right.
So he's
and
got
they had the
back.
perfect like balance in 5 generations or 10 generations, whatever.
Yep.
So he's feeling good. He's got the red cloth now. He's got the bright yellow eyes.
The crowd's going
I thought
wild. They're loving it.
They're loving this. They're
This is
cheering
like-
on their boy.
It is. It's like the
Yes.
Staples Center at Game 7 out there because
Yes,
they
sir.
are big fans of what they're seeing.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Maybe they were Force Ghosts. If they are, they didn't have any fucking. Well, I guess it's good for them. If one guy wins, we all gotta win.
Yes.
But yeah, and they're going wild, and he is taking out ships.
Yes.
For sure. The one guy that's in all of them that I don't think we ever kind of know his name, but he's like J.J. Abrams' friend. He's a pilot. Or he's in all of the movies.
Yeah.
He dies, unfortunately.
He does.
By the lightning, I think. But
no, he got clipped, remember?
Oh, he does.
Right beforehand, before the shit
Not in that,
came
but
out.
he's not in an X-wing. I can't remember what they're called, but he's in like a fucking speeder. It just doesn't got the maneuver of the X-wing. But yeah, he gets clipped. Sidious is doing the lightning. I thought the lightning did look cool. It
Greg
was a cool
Grunberg.
effect.
That's his name. And he played Snap Wexley.
Snap Wexley. And I've seen that guy in a million things.
Yeah,
he was
in a
in
bunch
Heroes.
of things. Yeah.
But yeah, so he's taking down ships, and but Rey, because she has the voices in her. I guess he didn't suck all the life out of her.
I guess not. And
Because
the
I guess
voices
maybe
are-
she can just, even if she dies, she can heal herself. Maybe did she
don't know.
die? Maybe
Did
she's
she
that
die?
powerful.
No, I don't think she died. Well, she died after the fact, I guess, but
Yeah.
before that,
But like, why did he not drain all the life out of her then?
I have no idea.
So I'm thinking, why did I don't think he left a little bit in there. Like, we don't want to
Maybe
take it all.
I don't know. Maybe the Jedi through their powers, because she like looked up into space, like deep space,
Yeah,
because she heard all the different.
that's what I'm
voices
thinking.
of
So
the
maybe they
Jedi.
did
Maybe they
revive her or
resurrected
something.
her or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, I don't know.
If Leota can bring lightning down while he's already dead, then I'm sure they can shock this lady right back into working. But again, it was no surprise at all. You knew they were never gonna kill Rey off because
No, of course not.
merchandise.
Of course.
That was the biggest fucking thing in this film is merchandise. They couldn't do anything.
No.
You couldn't. You had to leave Kylo. Kylo had to die at the very end because you couldn't have him redeem himself. And Rey could never have been. I would at some point. I would even. At first, I thought I didn't like this. The theory of Rey turning bad. But I thought it would have worked out, and then if she ended up actually,
I know.
and then Kylo ended up having to come and kill her.
Exactly.
I thought that would have been, but that was just too risky. They would never have
They
done
would have
that.
never done that.
They
But
have no balls.
I thought that could have been a really interesting story.
That would have been
Yeah.
the full 180 of that. All people kind of thought of it in the original.
And the
that was
balancing
gonna
of the
happen.
Force once more.
Yeah,
through
and a
all of it.
Skywalker ended up balancing it. Instead, it ends up actually being a Palpatine.
But that is super risky with Disney.
oh, they don't.
Especially with the
well, we know for
feminism
Disney,
thing
they
and
don't
stuff,
take risk. Yeah, no.
being a bad, going from good being bad.
Yeah, they have
They
no
weren't gonna
balls.
do
Yeah,
that.
and the merchandise with Rey and her Rey turning bad. Now you can't
Of course.
sell Rey.
Now you
merchandise
can't sell Rey
because- yeah.
merchandise because she's a bad guy.
She's a bad guy now. Yeah, so it's.
No one's dressing up for Rey in Halloween. No 6-year-old little
Yeah,
girl.
but it sucks that they have to do that because of that. Because they're such a large corporation. They're not just a movie studio.
Yeah.
I would like them just to be 100% Star Wars and have so many other fucking. Yeah.
I
So
wish like A21 would have picked up Star Wars.
it would have been amazing. We would have got an indie Star Wars. That would have fucking
Hell yeah.
amazing.
That would've
William
been dope.
Dafoe as
Yeah,
Palpatine.
Strike me dead, Winslow. Oi.
May Neptune
May
strike ye
Neptune.
down, Rey. Yeah, we could have had him. We could have been amazing.
Would have been beautiful.
But Rey, she kind of gets the sunburst of energy, pops up. Now she's got both lightsabers back.
She does. She does the old, and Palpatine's like, "Hey, I'm a fucking fry this bitch."
What
So
I
he
know
thinks-
from my lightning, it always works.
It always works. and he does the old 1-2.
Take that, bitch.
Lickety-doo.
Yep.
And it turns out miserable for him.
What do you know? Rey's got a little more power than she
does.
thinks. She flips that shit like
And
it's
she
been
just
done
every time
so
pushes
many
it
times.
once. He's like, oh shit.
And he can't stop the lightning
No,
at
he
that point.
can't.
It's
No,
locked in. Once you're on, and he's just frying himself.
And I mean, what happened to it? Like, this is what frustrates me. We saw an epic lightsaber battle against him and Yoda
Yeah.
in episode 3.
Yes.
It was so cool, so great, so miraculous.
Yeah.
Why could we not have gotten that final duel between Sidious and Rey?
My thought was
Instead
at that
of
point
just killing him the same way.
was
he's
at
always
that
died.
point he's so powerful that he would never even think about using a lightsaber still. But that's just knowing that he said that in the past though. They've thrown everything else out. They
But
could have
how-
completely thrown that out
I know,
and gave him
but
lightsabers.
how cool? Hear me out. How cool
Yes.
would this have been? Where he uses the Jesus Christ Force lightning,
Yeah.
right? And then it gets to a point where she almost fries him, and he gets like this evil little grin on his face. He goes, "Not again."
Yeah.
And then he uses the Force to grab his saber, and they start to duel, and that's how she kills him.
Or he
That'd
has
been fucking
he has
dope.
2 lightsabers and she also because he always carried on
Yeah.
a spare, remember?
Exactly, and they could have battled it.
So if he had 2 light, and even just seeing his iconic lightsaber, that smooth hilt with the curve at
Yep.
the end, that would have been a huge thing for fans to be like,
It would have been awesome.
oh, it would have
And
been.
they
it
could have
would have been one
sold
of those
so
moments.
much. Yeah, you could have sold that lightsaber as merchandise again.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. And
would've been
even
a
if
huge
it would have
sell.
been cool if she even like fried him like half, and he's like really looking shitty now, like because he's already looked old. But it would have finally gave us like vindication of like, oh, finally some revenge on this fucking asshole. Where
Yeah.
instead he just kind of disappears at the end. She fries him and he just
I know, he just goes.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's nothing there.
No, there's nothing. Yeah, and I hate that. I hate that in movies when it's just disappearing. I like in Star Wars where at least even the cloaks are there after then when they die, the Jedis or
Yeah.
whatever. But no, there's nothing. No
Nothing.
lightsaber battle, and it would have been. That could have been the scene.
It would have been the scene.
That could have been
Because he
that
would
could
have
have been
learned
the
his lesson
amazing.
from the last time.
Yeah, where he could just stop his lightning. He'd be like,
Yes.
okay, I'm gonna stop before it's too late. Yeah. And where he just gets half burned, where he's like, okay, I've seen this happen one too many times. But no, the same
The same way
fucking
he's died.
mistake.
Yeah, or whatever, quote unquote, died or been
Yeah.
fried. And it's just like, this is so tiresome to me.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just the same old shit.
I felt cheated, but that kills Rey also. Don't forget about that. Her doing the lightning.
Yeah, it kills her too. Yeah.
Too much.
Okay, cool.
Because she's so powerful, but that just took too much. Even though it wasn't.
She wasn't even getting electrocuted. The lightsabers were taking the brunt of the
And it wasn't her lightning either.
lightning.
It wasn't her lightning.
No,
So she probably wasn't using any force.
of course not. I don't know.
And this is the first one, I thought about it after, but this is the first one that establishes that somehow force powers get passed down through like your kids.
I guess so.
Has that ever been established in any?
Um,
Because it's not like he's the only one who has
it
lightning.
might have been.
But
Yeah, of course it has been. Yeah, I mean, think about Anakin and then Luke Skywalker and
they all have basic Jedi powers. That's not just a Skywalker thing, mind tricks and stuff like that.
Right.
That's every Jedi has that. But I mean, what they're saying.
what do you mean, like midichlorian? Like what?
No,
what
I'm
do you
talking
mean
about
by-
like because certain Jedis have certain abilities. It's never made clear what certain abilities that Luke has or whatever. He just seems like he has a broad range of everything. Where like Mace Windu could kind of go back and forth through light and dark, and then Palpatine, how he has force lightning.
Force lightning, you're right.
I never knew that those traits were passed down. So if like Mace Windu had a kid,
yeah,
because
they are passed down.
Well, and it never says that because Jedis don't have kids, so you would never see if ability was actually passed down.
Good point.
And it's not like
They weren't
because
supposed
it's
to.
yeah, and
anyway.
it's not like you and me because Count Dooku he had lightning ability also.
He
So
did.
it's not like
but
it's a
it was
family
just-
thing.
right? And originally, only Sith were allowed to have Force lightning or use Force lightning, rather.
Well, yeah.
So
So I don't think it's like passed down. So I mean, but this is the first one that established like if your dad had it, then you're gonna have
You're
it
gonna
also,
have it, yeah.
because your grandpa.
it's
had it.
hereditary.
Yeah, your grandpa had it, so you're gonna be fucking just lightening up everything, man.
Gotta be careful.
Well, look what Palpatine happened to him. Be very careful where you're pointing that shit at, because that thing reflects. Lightning always. Once they say about
does.
lightning, it always comes back. But so she's dead, or she dies.
Yep.
And but who comes crawling out of that
Ben.
fucking crevasse?
Ben.
And his name is Ben now. We have to establish
Yeah,
that.
we
They're
do.
no longer call him Kylo.
He comes back and he resurrects her. He also does the Force heal now.
Yep. And I thought immediately, are they just gonna go back and forth resurrecting each other?
Like, I gotta tell you something.
Yeah. And they just keep going back and forth. I mean, it's possible, right? She could have kept healing him.
So, yeah.
But they made it clear because they we got to get him out of here.
So that he faded.
Disappear him.
But again, I completely disagreed with this. I liked the relationship they had, but I didn't feel it as like a romantic thing. And that kiss was so awkward and unnecessary.
It was very weird.
I was like, what? I didn't need that.
Because he had done nothing in Rey's eyes to really redeem himself. Besides this one thing.
Exactly. So it was like, why did they...
Yeah. And I never felt in any of the films that Rey had feelings for Kylo. Kylo, I always felt had feelings for Rey only because he wanted her power. Mm-hmm. They knew that they worked well together. But
but nothing romantically. And
I thought, if anything, it would be Poe and Rey.
Yeah.
That would be so I thought they're almost like brother and sister to me, Kylo and...
I thought they were for the longest time. You know, so it's
like... Yeah, that felt almost forgot.
It was awkward.
But I know the entire tension in the theater was like... That kind of seems forced. Like, it was almost like we got to have a kiss in this. Mm-hmm. Like, someone's got to kiss. We got to have that love scene. Because every other movie has had one, right? We got to have that. But it was so... They kiss, and then he immediately dies. To me, it would have been better if they kissed and he lived. Because they'd be like, okay, now you're stabbing.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. If they're going to kiss, let him live.
Yeah.
But if they're not, then just let him die.
Yeah.
Just let him die.
It's
like, what are we doing?
It doesn't make any sense.
It just doesn't make any sense at all. No. That whole end scene, I was like, huh? Yeah.
For the first thing to go through Rey's head after she died would be like, I gotta kiss this guy. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
It didn't, man.
It was forced for sure. That whole thing made me think that I don't know, man, just the way he was like touching her stomach and stuff when he was reviving her, I was thinking, man, did he put a baby in her? Did he midichlorian her?
Oh man, are we 10, 11,
because you got to be careful with these fucking Jedis. You can't be bump up against stuff. You're shaking hands with this guy, now you're 6 months pregnant with this kid.
What the hell's going on here? This is not cool.
That made me think, because it made me think like they almost focused so much on him like touching her stomach. Because I thought for sure he would have revived her by like touching her heart or something. But he's on that stomach.
He's on the stomach.
I'm thinking he's transferring something.
Oh boy.
And that would make the ultimate fucking
power
Palpatine. Baby. Yeah, that would be and that he'd be a Skywalker he's got
also. Skywalker and Palpatine blood.
Because really the Skywalkers did die right there.
They did.
Although she goes on to take the name. She's not blood.
She's not blood.
No. So there is no more fucking Sky. So that's what I was thinking, man. I was thinking if they're gonna go more, then it's
10, 11, 12, then yeah.
That's what I thought. Like it was almost like they're protecting their ass.
Yeah.
Like we got them just in case, like fucking never showing Palpatine's actual death. We got to just make sure if we can go further on, we got to establish some kind of thing where, and we know from midichlorians, man, you don't got to fuck.
You don't. We know that from Anakin, from the prequels. Yeah. So
and it's very possible that's how Palpatine did it. Because again, I can't see anyone.
No.
Climbing on top of that old geezer.
But I also cannot see Palpatine like just letting his kids go do his own thing, their own thing,
without having some kind of say.
Oh, some sort of say? I mean, complete control over their lives.
Yeah, and trading him from birth.
That's your offspring.
Yeah, it made it seem like Palpatine's son was just a rebel, or just like he's like,
I
don't
want
you,
Dad.
Fuck you. Yeah. I'm doing my own thing. You think Palpatine would just be like,
okay,
that's rapscallion. He's always a firecracker.
I'm trying to get
We're
my
gonna
reins
let
on him, but he's got to go discover himself.
Eventually, he's gonna come back. He'll see how good of dad I've been, and he'll come back. It's like it's Palpatine. He would have had no connection at all to this kid. He would have locked him into a room and just had him train 24 hours.
And had he had rebelled, he would have killed and done another one.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, if he found out that he could had kids, why was he only having one?
Exactly. He would have raised a generation of soldiers, like of elite.
And he would have had a fucking league
soldiers.
of women that were just there for him just to have kids. Pump and dump. Yeah, that whole thing made me feel like it was just tacked on.
It was so tacked on, man.
Like we gotta bring Palpatine.
One of the most frustrating things for me.
Yeah,
honestly, that right there.
That's why. Let's get to the end. So Rey, it's all final. We always have that. Everyone's cheering, whatnot.
Did you see the other kiss?
Yeah,
they made sure to add that
was
in there.
The biggest risk they took in the entire movie was showing two women kiss.
Yep.
Why? Well, that was them going, we're gonna get crazy with this one.
Real crazy. People are gonna freak out.
There's aliens fucking in this world. There's aliens fucking humans in this world.
Yes.
But 2 women. Now this is gonna be...
It's getting a little dicey, folks. I don't know if
we have interspecies having sex.
Right.
But 2 women, man, that's our final. That's our last.
You're
fuck
really right on the edge there. We don't know.
Yeah, that was the big one. That was them taking the risk.
The risk. Yeah. It paid off.
Yeah, 2019. It's not. And maybe this was 1930. People in the audience would be throwing up and just in total shock because they can't handle this. But this is like, it's 2019. There was no one in my eyes going. I mean, there was no one in my eyes angry about it.
No, of course not. No,
that's what it almost felt like it was trying to like provoke. Yeah. Was either anger or at least happiness. Like no one cheered outrightly.
I know. Yeah, it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was just like we got to have this in. And then again, the Lando scene I thought was so fucking weird with him and that chick.
Yeah,
them
that was.
Them just immediately connecting and then being like, all right, I got nothing going on. Let's just figure this out. Yeah. We're gonna go on our own kind of thing. But Rey, she ends up going back.
Yep, to Tatooine. Yep. The famous home of
famous
Luke
two sons. Yep. And I was hoping she was going to go there and old Uncle Lars and one of her Aunt May's skeleton was still there.
There's still skeletons? She just like dust off some sand.
I was hoping it was going to be... So I'm like, no one's going to move them. They got to be still there. But no, unfortunately.
But it looks like they have since been emerged in the sand.
There has been a couple stands. But I guarantee you dig a little deep, you're going to find old Uncle Lars, whatever his name is. Yeah. But no, she doesn't. She doesn't find that.
She does not.
She ends up getting rid of her lightsaber. But again, it's such a... She ends up getting... But immediately when they sink in, she flips on and she has...
A yellow lightsaber.
Which you don't...
You've never seen
You've never seen the yellow lightsaber. Nope. I've only seen it in comic books and... in the new Star Wars game that just came out.
The one that just came out. I know what you're talking about.
Which I played and it was amazing.
Is it a great game?
It's a great Star Wars game, which is pretty fucking rare.
Really?
Yeah, it has an amazing story to it. But
well, dude, I gotta say the Force Unleashed games were fun. 1 and 2, those were fun games.
Oh yeah, those games aren't canon anymore. They used to be. But yeah, it's a good. But he's got a yellow lightsaber. But yeah, where'd she get that lightsaber from? And
I have no idea.
She flips it on her hilt. It was in her hilt the entire time. It was in the staff. That's what she turns on.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess the saber was actually her staff. Yeah,
gave it to her when she was young or something. But that's how it ends. Oh, and the very end, she says.
Well, in the Jedi Temple guards in Star Wars Rebels had yellow lightsabers.
Jedi Temple guards, yeah.
Right, so this is obviously old. This is kind of a
and Star Wars Rebels, yeah. And I've seen Rebels, and I don't even remember that. That must have been, I'm guessing, a flashback, because they do go flashbacks. Oh, they do go to a temple, but everyone's dead for a long, long time. There's not like there's guards there anymore. But yeah, that's pretty rare. Oh, in the last scene, there's some fucking just random ass traveler at the desert.
Yeah.
She goes,
there's no one been here for a while. Yeah. Who are you? Rey. Rey what?
Yeah, I thought she was going to go.
And then she sees
I'm with no one. Rey Solo.
Rey Solo, yeah. I'm not with a single person. Yeah.
Han Solo.
And then she sees, obviously Luke and Leia, their Mirage.
Yep, that was cool. And the 2 sons. The sons are always, you can't go to Tatooine without glancing at those beautiful.
They will make sure you know that you can see that every time.
It's their call of fame to Tatooine. Come to Tatooine, see our 2 sons.
Our 2 sons. It's literally the only tourist thing we have on this entire planet.
Yeah, we have sand people that will shoot at you, but we have nothing else. It's a rough neighborhood. It's a rough neighborhood, but
the 2 Sons is worth it. Check it out.
2 Sons is where we used to have an old hermit that lived up in the fucking caverns. No one talks.
No longer with us.
That's old Ben. Yeah, but no one talks to him in a while.
A little kooky.
But yeah, that's out. Oh, and she says, "I'm Rey
Skywalker." And that's the end of it.
That's the end.
Because she buries Luke in Leia's lightsaber.
Yeah. I'm guessing that's like burying them.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. She wouldn't feel right about.
Nope.
Using those lightsabers
again.
Anymore.
Couldn't give those other people she was training. I mean, we gotta have. Where are we coming up with these new lightsabers?
Is Finn gonna need a lightsaber?
I'm assuming
now that he's a Jedi.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just gonna have his own now.
What about the kid from the Last Jedi? Remember at the very end,
the
broom
kid. The broom. Yeah. I don't know.
Go get his ass.
No kidding. Start training that little bastard.
He's ripe for training.
I'm sure he's just waiting to get out of that shithole.
Yeah, I remember the alien thing beats the shit out of him.
Shit out of all those kids, for no reason. He just comes in all pissed off.
Yeah. Remember they're playing games, and he just beats shit.
Like, what? Why are you pissed?
Yeah, you're gonna need lightsabers. Maybe shit. Yeah, honestly, what do you think happens after this?
I don't think we'll see any more episodics ever.
Oh no, either do I. But what do you think happens in the world after this? That's what I'm gonna. Ask
guess.
You. What does Rey do after this? I mean, because it never seems like the Empire is destroyed. It never,
and it shouldn't be, because again,
there'll
we're
always
talking
be
about
remnants.
the balance of the Force. You must have good and evil. So something must emerge from this. Something with the Sith must emerge. It has to.
Yeah, possibly.
And
well, I mean,
if we know anything about Palpatine,
they should have destroyed Exegol.
Yeah, he's always got Plan C and Plan D.
Yeah,
so.
to say and to think he's even dead.
I know.
I'm sure he's laughing.
Probably alive
he's
again.
Laughing somewhere. But yeah, they should have completely destroyed Exegol and destroyed all the Sith artifacts, right? You got to.
Should have. Should have.
Why are you
Wasn't
leaving
there? Yeah.
Why are you leaving?
Like, we'll leave it.
You
for
know,
the next
someone's
guy.
gonna find it and become the most powerful Sith of all goddamn time, because that place is calling to Sith.
Oh, it is.
But yeah, I wonder if she's gonna start, training Jedi.
Probably.
She still has all the books. We saw that. So
That
she
is
has,
true.
So
she did take that.
I
from
like.
the tree.
Yeah, I like to think about what happens after that. Where does she?
I don't really know where they take it. I mean, they may do another trilogy, but I highly doubt it.
Oh,
I don't know what.
They'll do another trilogy. It won't be in this time. It will be far after or far before.
You think so?
Yeah, you're not following this up anymore.
No.
For sure. There's nothing. You can't. Anything else would be just this story over and over again.
Where do you take Star Wars from here, though? I mean, in general, do you just do?
Because there's nothing planned.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's
really
nothing
not.
planned for Star Wars right now.
No. The Mandalorian, might I add, and Baby Yoda right here, my T-shirt, which were 2 hours.
Speaking of guys that fuck, what we've learned recently is everyone's slinging dick in the universe.
Everyone is slinging dick. Even Yoda here.
Even Yoda, who we thought did. Yeah. I didn't think he had functional genitals.
Yeah, genitalia. Yeah, no, we didn't.
But
I guess he did.
Apparently he did, and that gives hope. It should give hope for anyone alone out there. Because if that guy can fuck, and if
anyone
decrepit Uncle Fester fucking Palpatine can sling dick to someone,
so can you.
You can absolutely. And it doesn't matter how old you are either.
And if there's only one thing you can take away from this podcast today, that would be it.
That's honestly the biggest thing that I took away after me. I was just thinking, I couldn't believe that someone had sex with Palpatine.
I couldn't believe that. That was the biggest twist to me. I was like, what?
Like, you can't just throw that in there.
I mean, I don't even care if he's paying for it.
You can't.
You're not going to have sex with that. It's gross.
No.
It's terrible.
Those fucking nubby ants.
Yeah.
I'm just rubbing those.
Doesn't even have eyeballs to look inside. I don't know.
And if he's fucking, he's taking care of that kid.
He is.
100%.
Absolutely.
I mean, not being a good dad, not like.
I mean, he rules an empire.
playing
I mean,
catch with them.
send me a check once a month. It's not that hard.
No, those
You're
guys.
building Star Destroyers, but you don't have enough money to feed the family. What are we doing here?
I know he had so much pull, and he didn't have pull to go and get
his children.
Rey.
Yeah. Or Rey.
Or Rey. Yeah. Well, what did you think about this, Mason? Should we give it a grade?
Mm-hmm.
We should.
Give
it. Let me hear it. I'll let you go first.
So, I mean, I feel like I'll talk about this for 10 minutes, but for all the things wrong with this film, maybe not necessarily with just the film, because I think, I genuinely believe this too. I think for what J.J. Abrams had to work with, I think he did the best job he possibly could. And my fault is really not with him. It's really not. More than anything, it's with the way the storyline was put together, the inconsistencies of the story as a trilogy, and never having a complete, concise, clear vision for all three movies and where they wanted to get from point A to point B to point C. And, again, I talk about the prequels, but the prequels had that so much. Say what you will about them, but they had a clear-cut and concise way of where they wanted to go, and they executed that the best way they possibly could.
And the ending was very satisfying. No matter how shitty...
Revenge of the Sith was awesome.
No matter how shitty the first two movies of any trilogy can be, if you can wrap it up in that final movie, then you almost forget it. But this one, I'll let you continue. But this one did not do that.
No,
the prequels at least had that. It was concrete, And it was satisfying. It all just rolled in together. Like they knew exactly where it was going.
Yes.
And I think it's obvious that George Lucas had a clear plan. I think he had a clear plan for these films as well. Mm-hmm. But they bought it from him and he had no say in it after all. He didn't go to the premiere, did you hear about that?
I didn't.
The first one he didn't go to, yeah.
Really?
Because you remember what we were talking about, he came in and had to do the ending and everything, and I don't think they ended up, I think they might have half used his and half not, but I don't think they ended up using a lot of it.
I think that was the biggest mistake they made here, was not getting his 2 cents about the world that he created and built. Because no one cares more about Star Wars than him. Say what you will about George Lucas as a filmmaker. Okay, those points are completely warranted. They're completely right. Okay, not the best filmmaker as far as dialogue and all this stuff, but as far as an awesome story, as far as like characters and knowing where you want to go with it and knowing all the lore of the world that he created, you have to get a person like that's input. Yeah. And then you write the script around his ideas. Mm-hmm. You don't let him write the dialogue. You don't let him do that.
No, do not let him.
No, do not let him do any of that.
No.
But you get the ideas and the storyline and the story arcs from him because he is a brilliant mind.
He definitely should have been involved more than he was.
Absolutely.
They made him seem like he was a leopard and they didn't even want him on set or anything. Oh, they did bring him in to do some of the beginning and whatnot part of this, but then nothing else. They ended up calling him when the fan when they needed him.
And they needed him more than, he came in and
tried to do his own ending.
Tried to save a game being down 2-5 in the ninth inning, you know. Bases loaded, no outs kind of thing. Baseball reference. We keep going back to it.
For some reason in this one.
To this podcast out of all of them. But yeah, just with the storyline and everything, it's just like, that was the most irritating thing for me. Because if and I'm just going to hit up all my points real quick again. I look at these movies individually and I don't hate any of them. But all put together, I'm just so immensely disappointed with like bringing Darth Sidious back. I thought it was a great wrap up in Return of the Jedi. I thought that was exactly where it should have ended, and we could have had a new bad guy. You set up Snoke. Snoke was awesome, and then we kill Snoke. That's okay. But then
that was a big twist. No one saw that coming.
No one saw that coming. Brilliant, awesome. But as you said earlier, use Kylo, because Kylo, and this is what I said as well, it was like Kylo had the most clear-cut and concise character arc out of any character here. Rey wasn't fleshed out enough. Finn was kind of like its thing where it's like he's a Jedi, but he's not really a Jedi. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Poe was literally the exact same thing as Han Solo. Yeah. So it's like there was nothing clear about it except Kylo's character arc. And I think moving forward, you could have literally just had him be the bad guy in 9. Yes. And it would have been awesome. It would have been perfect because then you set up Hux as well. All of it worked for me. We did not need Sidious. And it just like, it kind of ruined it. Mm-hmm. It kind of ruined like the trilogy for me. Like, and I hate to say that because I liked the movie, but just like the story and everything, and it really makes the original film like not feel like it was significant at all. Yeah. Like it was just a stepping stone to this, and then we get this, and we're like, what?
Like this
it's a stepping stone to this. Like this is supposed to be fantastic.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be what we waited for 40 years.
Yeah.
So that's my issue with it.
Yes.
I'm trying to get too passionate because, like, I still appreciate all of this.
I'm just waiting for you to let me, because I'm going to agree with all of what you said.
Okay. But, So, basically for me, this grading does not reflect J.J. Abrams. I think for what he had to work with, I think he did a great job. I also think the actors, all of them, did a great job. I think I think it's an incredible cast. I really do. It's my fault's not with them. It's just like the story, So for me, I gave it a C-.
Yeah,
like just not.
Well, I'm right around. I mean, this is the only Star Wars film that I walked out of and I felt cheated. Mm-hmm. I just felt like this is not what we deserved. That's not for all those years and everything. This is not the fucking ending. Out of anything, this should have been the best ending you could have possibly had. This should have been the one that you put so much effort and so much thought. But again, it felt you said look at them all as separate films. Mm-hmm. They all feel like separate films. They don't feel like they're congruent into a trilogy or anything.
Exactly.
They don't. I mean, you can look at them that way, but you almost have to look at them that way because they're all completely separate films. I mean, everyone has like has a good guy and a bad guy in it, and then the second one has a different good and bad guy, and then the third one has a different good and bad guy. I mean, it's there's no one overarching like all of them had, you know. And there's, again, if you're gonna have, I wouldn't even have been as upset if the first two were mediocre and then the third one was just fucking amazing, and you could tie it all together. But like we said earlier, Palpatine felt tacked on. Like, and you don't blame J.J. Abrams. I kind of do blame J.J. Abrams. I think that was probably a move of his to do, was to bring Palpatine back. Because at that point, they didn't want to anger anyone. With how bad The Last Jedi was received, I think they were so scared to anger anyone. To anger diehard fans, to anger just fans of film, just mediocre fans or anything.
So then wouldn't you blame the fans?
No.
You don't blame the fans in?
No,
for not receiving The Last Jedi.
I would never blame the fans for any. I don't think any kind of art or anything, because in the end
but
fans.
That's why they played it so safe, right?
Yeah, but in the end the fans don't have any say, and they're not in the boardroom or anything like that. I mean, they're not. Yeah, the fans were really hard on The Last Jedi and everything, and it's scared. But it wasn't. They didn't do it for the fans. They did it to make fucking money. I mean, every option I felt they chose in this one was just to make as much fucking money as possible. That's why they played so safe, because they didn't want to anger anyone. They didn't want to anger hardcore fans or just people, fans of cinema or anything. They just played it so goddamn safe, and it was so up to that formula of the same thing we've seen over and over again 3 times now. And I just thought at the end we would get something so much more than that. I don't know, maybe my expectations were too high. But your expectations should be high.
It should be high.
One of the biggest saga of all time in film history.
Mm-hmm. With the biggest company in the
how
world
is it gonna,
purchasing it.
How is this going to look in retrospect, people looking back at it?
I mean, I don't want to be negative right
exactly.
off the bat.
I don't want to say it
worst
hinders
trilogy.
Star Wars, but it does.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like the prequels better.
They had, because I think they felt like they had more heart in it, even though they were doing, even though they did some wacky decision making, it just felt like they were 100% adamant about that. Mm-hmm. This one felt like they were just wishy-washy about everything. Yep. They didn't want to go too far this way. They didn't want to go too far this way. So they just stood right in the middle of the road and did nothing. Yeah. They didn't take any risk. And I hate that. Again, The Last Jedi, say what you want about it, but at least Rian Johnson felt like he had enough freedom where he could do different things. Yeah. But it's just...
And I've always, and you can go back 2 years ago, I've always been an advocate for that movie. I really did like The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
And I had my faults with it. But again,
ones.
I think this makes... And again, I don't want to say because it's not the worst film ever, but this film makes you appreciate every Star Wars film that came before it.
Mm-hmm. It does.
In the way of you, just that, I'm just glad it didn't turn out like that. Yeah. In that way. Not in the way where, like, it was so good that it just makes you appreciate everything else. It just makes you appreciate that they didn't end up like The Last Jedi ended up. So for that, I'm right with you. I'll give it around a D+. Yeah. Because it was... Unfortunately, so... But again, it's because Disney's too big. It's too big. You gotta break that. They're not a movie company. They're just a money-making company. Mm-hmm. They don't care. They just want to make money.
But you know, we
and this film has not done well. We can talk about that. The weekend has passed.
It's 300 million, I think, or
300 worldwide.
Whoa, worldwide.
Yes, it's about 140 million, 48 million domestic.
Really not that good then.
Did really bad in China, which Star Wars always do really bad in China. Mm-hmm. They just, for some reason,
do not like it.
They love CGI, but they do
not like the Star Wars.
Yeah, I think it's just way too fucking complicated. I mean, it's just, yeah.
I guess it would
white people in space, just doing white people stuff. Yeah,
no, we're not really.
It's not for us.
It's not.
But yeah, it did.
King Kong. But.
It did, and it had its worst cinema score. It had a B+, which is the worst Star Wars cinema score.
It also is rotten on Rotten Tomatoes, sitting at a 56 currently.
For critics, yeah.
For critics.
You have to say user reviews are around, I think,
86.
80, high 80s.
86 right now. Which
so people like this. Fans like this more than they liked The Last Jedi.
And I don't get that. I do not get that at all.
I do, because it just made me just cemented it that they just don't want to see anything different. They just want to see what they're used to. People don't like change.
Stupid.
It's a common trait in the humans. And I guess it even boils down to films.
Yeah.
They just can't handle anything different.
Well, that's why we get all these reboots and stupid things. Like
Absolutely, yeah. But it will make more money, especially with everyone being off school and now it's the holiday week or whatever. It's going to make $1 billion.
Of course it will. Yeah. This will make $1 billion, no question.
It's going to do really. It's going to be
probably hit
the
$1 billion
number one
before the
movie
end of the
this
year.
year. It's probably going to be the number one movie throughout the end of the year and for a while probably. But it did not do well.
Didn't. We were talking earlier about The Mandalorian and how incredible The Mandalorian has been. For all the things wrong with this film, The Mandalorian.
Something we said before. Yeah,
I am dead serious, Cash.
It's
Krause.
a godsend.
It is a godsend. I do not have one complaint about The Mandalorian. I think that show is absolutely incredible. I have a Baby Yoda shirt on.
I see it.
Yeah, I brought it up a few
It's
times.
amazing.
I love it. But I love everything about that. And we talk about Jon Favreau.
Yes.
And I really, really like that idea you had a few weeks ago where you said that someone like that should be in charge because you feel like it's a passion project for that guy. He might not be the biggest Star Wars fan, but he understands the Star Wars mind.
Like what Kevin Feige did with Marvel.
Exactly.
They got some guy that was passionate. He ended up after, fucking like Thor 2 and Iron Man 2 or whatever, where they thought they were sinking, they got him in there. But they're just glued with Kathleen Kennedy.
Which
It's still from Star Wars Awakens, which happens to be the best Star Wars out of any of these. I think because she did that, they're kind of stuck with her.
Yeah.
But they need to. Yeah, we said it earlier. What if Mandalorian hadn't come out this year and this was our only Sar Wars film? I think it would have done. I think it would have done even worse. Yeah. I think fans would even be more upset because, to me, it doesn't. Even though it wasn't my favorite, it doesn't feel that bad knowing that I have
The Mandalorian,
almost
the last
8
episode.
hours of Mandalorian I can go back and watch.
And that being the last episode this Friday.
And that being the best Star Wars content we've gotten since the original trilogy, in my opinion.
I totally agree. It is the best. Yeah. It is really incredible. And it feels
it's simple.
Star Wars.
It's a simple story like Star Wars was. Star Wars is always good versus bad. Yep. It's not a million different things. It's just easy and it's fun to watch. That's all it is. You know what?
I think why some of those fan films are so good too. I've watched a lot of fan films in Star Wars. Not all of them are good.
No.
But But there are a few that are very simple and they stay to the rules of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And they're really good. And this just feels simple. It feels exactly what Star Wars should be. And I love it.
Doing what was best. It's doing what was best out of all the trilogies.
Yeah.
It's taking from everything. It's not going down the path of like falling in love or whatever like the prequels had or anything like that.
Right.
It's not too complicated, not too convoluted. It's simple and it's fun. That's all it is.
It is. It's a lot
fun
of
to watch.
fun.
Yeah. Keeps you interested.
Yes, sir.
Thank God. And we have the last Mandalorian episode coming up.
We do.
Hopefully, we know what's next, at least we know that Obi-Wan is in the works.
It is in the works.
We know at least we have that, and pray to God they don't fuck that up.
Let's hope not.
I have a lot more confidence in the Star Wars TV shows right now than I do with the movies.
Yeah.
I'm not. My confidence level for the movies are pretty low. When's the last... I mean, it's been, 5 years since we got an actual decent Star Wars film?
Mm-hmm.
If you enjoyed Force Awakens.
I enjoyed Rogue One.
I also enjoyed Rogue One.
I enjoyed Rogue One a lot, and actually out of
I think it's
all
very,
the films,
I think it's very underrated.
The best one.
I think it's very underrated.
I really enjoyed
Rogue One was beautiful.
It was.
It was a great film to watch. Yeah.
I stand by Rogue One as the best one so far. No questions asked.
Oh, yeah, of the new ones.
Out of the new ones, of course, yes.
Oh, yeah, and you almost forget about it. Yeah, much better than
I went
Han
back
Solo.
and rewatched it a little while ago, and I was like, this is good. I love it. It still holds up to me.
It's got so many good, and it was, and because I think it was so good, because they didn't have any rules or anything they had to follow. They could do whatever the fuck they wanted. It was a completely new story, so they could do anything, and that worked out. That's the best part of Star Wars. And they had Ben Mendelsohn in it.
Which
played an amazing.
He's incredible.
They could have made him the
Ben
general
Mendelsohn.
in these fucking new ones, and it would have been fucking amazing. But yeah, Ben Mendelsohn, He's good in everything.
He is.
Well, all right, Mason, that was a long time coming. We've talked
definitely
about
was.
that film for a long time.
We normally
And,
do on Star Wars. If you checked out The Last Jedi, I think that was close to 3 hours.
3 hours, yeah.
That we talked about that. We had a guest on for that last time. This time it's just me and you.
Yeah, and we still talked about it for fucking 2.5 hours.
Yeah, we did.
Well, all right.
Alrighty. Well, you guys know where to find us. Look us up on YouTube. Type in Have You Seen It? Have You Seen It podcast? We're the Angry Popcorn Guy. Be sure to subscribe there to the channel. We do trailer reactions and whatnot on that channel. You guys can find our audio form podcast on audio format anywhere you find podcasts: Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher. Social media pages: Twitter, Seen It Podcast. Cash is on Twitter. That's just Cash. Instagram, Have You Seen It? Facebook, Have You Seen It? Have You Seen It Podcast? We post memes and stuff, movie memes. It's a lot of fun. It's a good page to follow. Be sure to give that a like.
A lot of Baby Yoda memes.
A lot of Baby Yoda
Those are
memes
hot
these
right
days.
now.
They're very hot
Those
right
are
now.
hot right now.
They're a lot of fun. Yeah. So my name's Mason Knight. That is Cash Kraus. And until next time.
Bye.